Uh-oh.
It is that time.
I can't hear the stream.
That's because I shut off the music.
Oh, thank God. All right. Sorry, I was just being a complete jerk on Twitter.
Hello, my lovable misfits. Welcome to another prime time, not for prime time episode of Old Time Media.
What?
So, the first thing that we have lined up today is Suspense, and I am streaming this also in the Discord so you can see it simultaneously.
Yeah, that's what I'm watching. Wait. Sorry, I got a hair on my tongue.
Resume interrupting my stream, because that's rude.
Okay, now I hear you coming through the YouTubes.
Alright. I've got me.
But I'm way louder than you are.
Yep, that's why we do this. Okay, let me see.
And I'm way back here from my mic.
Yep, it's probably. Okay, let me see. Okay, let me see here. My razor's turned up all the way, so let me turn down the audio output capture, hopefully.
Then we'll see if that works.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, that didn't work.
Huh.
I sound like I'm coming through over an intercom.
Alright, hold on. Let me see. Oh, I see what I did wrong. Let me hit this. Alright, hold on. Let me do this.
Say when.
Let me hit this and see what happens. Alright, when? Say when. When.
Say when. I'm still too loud.
Okay, see, this is the problem with this thing. Okay. Alright, I am trying to move you down to. Hang on, up. Nope. I told you 0. 0? Thank you.
Are you capturing me from Discord?
Yeah.
Oh. Are you turning down my volume?
Yeah.
In Discord.
In the Discord, hold on. No, I am not. Let's try that. Okay, how's that?
I don't know, you tell me. Well, I guess I'll wait.
Yeah. Delay.
That seemed to work a bit. Try it some more.
Okay. Okay, OBS disconnecting. Reconnection success. You better fucking reconnect, motherfucker. How am I supposed to test this shit, get this right?
Exactly. I'm still a little loud.
Okay. Well, I mean, you're not as loud as you were.
No, but I don't want to overpower everyone.
Yeah. Alright, let's go down to 40%, see what hooping. Alright, let's go. That's around 40%, see what hooping.
I would almost say go down to 20, but we'll see in a second. Oh, no, that's good.
Uh-huh.
Hello, Green Badger Outdoors.
Hey, Green Badger, we're still fiddling around with shit. Okay. Alright, don't mind the short. I'm trying to see if the Chrome audio plays, so it's only going to be playing for a couple of seconds. Okay. Yay! We have Chrome audio. So this is going to work. Alright, cool. Alright.
Now I've muted the YouTube feed so we can
Yep.
so I can not hear myself echo. Echo.
Right. Right. All right. So once again, hello, Misfits in the chat. You see, there is a pinned chat that is the link to my Streamlabs if you wish to help me, upgrade my shit, get a better battery, or do things in general that will improve my way of streaming, which apparently do not include getting my dog to stop barking out the window. Okay, so
I've got my cup of tea like an old lady,
all right. Okay, cool.
so my throat doesn't go dry.
All right.
Suspense
So
Venue, digitally restored collection.
exactly.
Okay, go on.
This is Suspense. This is an old thriller TV show, radio show from the 40s, from the 30s and 40s. The first episode is called The Lodger, and it is technically the audition to the show, which I guess later on gets translated into pilots for TV later on.
It's an Alfred Hitchcock show. There's going to be much suspense and all manner of thrills involved. We shall enjoy ourselves immensely.
This is Hollywood,
and
and
don't
CBS
mind the
presenting
woman with
forecast
the
number
wooden
4.
spoon.
Herbert Marshall, directed by Alfred Hitchcock in the first program of a proposed new series entitled Suspense.
Wow, that's somebody gave steroids to that trumpet.
Right?
Tonight's forecast program, ladies and gentlemen, represents the ideal form of collaboration. Mr. Alfred Hitchcock, brilliant English director of such outstanding motion pictures as The 39 Steps, Rebecca, and Foreign Correspondent, was eager to create a very special type of radio drama, the suspense story. As narrator and star for his production, he thought at once of the distinguished actor with whom he had been associated in countless British film successes.
All right, there goes
Herbert
the echo.
Marshall.
I fixed it.
Mr. Marshall suggested that
Really?
they dramatize a certain favorite story of his. And that story happened to be the very one Mr. Hitchcock had in mind. Mrs. Belloc Lowndes' classic in Chill's, The Lodger.
After
The
3
Lodger.
hours of introduction, we finally got to the story.
Hopefully.
What? Are we in the land of
The
Oz
Lodger
here?
is a work of fiction which springs
Right?
from recorded fact.
Oh no!
A
More
story which
intro.
begins in the year 1888 in London.
Oh,
A London terrorized by the fifth in a succession
Jack
of
the Ripper.
recent murders. It was believed that these deeds were the work of one person, a tall, gaunt figure in a black Inverness cape, carrying a small, narrow bag. That meager description, provided by a highly unnerved witness, was the sum total of all that was known of the murderer. It was enough, however, to keep alive and alert the interest of all London, of all those in fine
There was
quarters,
way
and all
more
those
known
in
about him.
small, grimy
Right?
houses, as, for example, Ellen Bunting.
I mean, they called him
Ellen was
Leather
no different
Apron
from
because
all
of
the
a
other
leather
middle-aged
apron, for fuck's
housewives
sake.
dwelling in the great city's squalid Whitechapel district. She knew all the known facts of the case. As Herbert Marshall will tell you, Ellen knew it was quite proper to refer to this wielder of the knife as the Avenger.
The Avenger.
They called him Satin Cummerbund. Why? Well, it turns out he wore a denim vest.
Right.
Of course, Ellen Bunting was far more concerned with her personal problems than with thoughts of the Avenger. Yet the case of that strange, elusive killer quite often forced all other matters from her mind. There was that mad, meaningless scheme he seemed to follow. All his victims, for example, had been women. All had been young, attractive, and, oddly enough, blonde.
Wow,
Ellen
they
knew
are
no more
real
understand the
jumping
motive
outside
for
of the
his brutal
Ripper
slashings than
canon.
the police. This night, she and her husband, Robert Bunting, sat before
Yeah,
I think
I
this
don't-
story was.
reading the newspaper
I don't think this
of
is the
murder.
Jack the Ripper story. They're just.
The Avenger
No,
was
they're
struck
just
again.
Using-
using some references to bring people in to listen to the story, I think.
Well, that and the
As evidence
fucking
was,
Munchkins.
He might
Right.
be anybody. He might be the fellow you pass on the street.
It's a terrible thought.
Yes. If only the police had something to go on. But it looks like that Avenger's just too quick for him.
Look, it says here that this girl he got last night was like all the others. Pretty, blonde, and, let's see, described by her friends as a very light-hearted girl. What a pity.
What a
Did you ever
pity.
stop to think who fits that to a T?
People are
In fact,
so
fits all those
decent
girls?
after they get
Why-
croaked.
And my own Daisy.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a horrible thought. Well, maybe it's a good thing she's with
Her
her aunt
smile
then,
lit
instead
up
of
a
here.
room.
Learn to lead a
Everybody
safe
loved
place for any
her. She
girl
was the
right
most
now.
charitable
Just the
person
same,
we
I
ever
can't
knew
help
in this
thinking how fine it'll be to
community.
have her back
And
in.
now she's
Now,
gone.
Bunting, you know that
They
Daisy
never
thinks
tell
she's
you
too
that the
much
room
my
had a
own daughter.
glory
She is
hole.
yours. But I'm telling you, there's no sense even thinking about having her back right now.
People
We
had a
just
damn
can't
good reason to
afford it.
leave that
Oh, I
room
know
happy.
Right?
Only, well, maybe we could manage it some way.
How? Haven't I scrimped myself half crazy trying to keep us going? But you don't care about that, do you? No, your Daisy's more important to you than I am.
No,
and-
Ellen, that don't sound
Oh,
like
Calm
I
down,
can't
Annie
help
Em.
if you don't. What are we going to do? Tell me that.
We'll get along, dear. Something will turn up.
Oh, we haven't had a lodger for months.
Right?
Nobody even comes to look at the room anymore.
Yes, but things will work out, Ellen.
Oh, they
Comes
ain't
to
never
eat.
going to work out.
So if she complains
We won't even
anymore,
have a
can we
roof
call
over
her
our
Karen
heads
in?
and-
Really?
Oh, I'm sorry, Robbie. I didn't mean to take on so.
Oh, I know, dear, I know. It's all right.
Oh, I didn't think it. It's just that I've been so worried.
Well, don't you go worrying another second, old girl. Why,
Just
first
that
thing you know,
I'm
you won't
having
be pretty
rather a
anymore.
heavy
You'll have your face
period.
all wrinkled
Now,
and red.
see
Now,
here,
come on, now,
Bunty.
let's see a smile. Come on, just have one
Oh,
smile.
leave
Bunny.
me
Just
alone,
one
I
smile
won't.
like you used to,
I'll
eh?
be done with
Okay. I came here for suspense, not weird flirtation.
Visitors. Bunting, do you think it could be somebody looking for rooms?
Well, it might be. Want me to go to the door?
No, I'll go.
No.
You just stay
It,
here.
it's a
all right.
census
Now,
taker.
be sure you get a good
Right.
look at Louise before you let them in, dear.
Oh, I'm coming. Oh, I do.
Land
hope
shark.
Yes, sir.
Is it not true that you...
Hello, ma'am. We've got your coconuts.
Yes, sir.
And
won't
they're
you
a
come
lovely
in, sir?
bunch.
Thank you.
Could I take your cape, sir?
There's no need. Now, I'm looking for a quiet room. It must be quiet.
Oh, we have that, sir. Above all, our house is quiet. Your bag, sir. May I take it?
No, I'll hold it. You'll be so good as to show me the room, please.
Oh, yes, sir. It's right up these stairs, sir. This way.
Thank you.
You see, sir, there's just my husband and me here, and we're ever so quiet, and I'm sure you'll find
Or
this
since the
room
sex
very
ended.
welcoming, sir.
Right?
Here we are. Now
You've
I'll
been
just
married
light
for
the gas.
58 years.
There.
Mm-hmm. Very good.
It is pleasant, isn't it, sir? And there's not many rooms with such pretty pictures, are there now? We've had them in the family for years, sir, and...
Pictures interest me very little. You see, what really impresses me about the room is the very simplicity of it, the bareness.
Yes, sir. It's not at all crowded, is it?
It will be quite suitable, Mrs.
Bunting's.
Mrs. Bunting.
Okay.
You
I
see,
knew
I
it.
do a great deal of studying in my book here, the Holy Bible.
Yes, sir. Please, sir, let me help with your luggage.
No, don't touch it.
Oh, but I only wish to...
Oh, you only wish to help, of course. You must forgive me, Mrs. Bunting. It's just that
Okay, cool.
I'm so very weary.
Of course.
The chat
He
works.
bringeth them to their desired haven. Beautiful
Yes,
words,
yes,
Mrs.
it does.
Bunting.
Indeed they are, sir.
And now at last I have found my haven of rest.
Yes, sir. Then you'll be taking the room.
Let us see now, what are you going to charge me? With attendance, mind. I shall be staying in most of the time, and I shall be wanting meals.
Oh, we can see to that, sir.
Then does 30 shillings a week suit you?
30, why, yes, sir. Yes, sir, that will be quite all right.
Good, and I shall pay you in advance. My name is Sleuth, Mrs. Bunting.
Mr. Sleuth.
Oh, jeez.
S-L-E-U-T-H.
Oh, good Lord.
Think of a hound, Mrs. Bunting.
Avenger,
You'll never forget
sleuth.
my
I
name.
wonder who he could be.
3, 4,
Yeah.
30.
It's
30
not like
shillings.
it's obvious or anything.
And I think I should enjoy a little.
That's like when Superman's real name is Phil Superman.
Would you arrange
Right?
that?
Well, certainly, sir. I'll do that now. And if you'd be requiring any
Hello, I'm
beer
Bob
or
Accountant.
spirits,
Certainly not.
Oh,
Okay,
sir.
it would help if I
What-
spelled the
what
word
did I say?
correctly,
I
I guess.
thought you understood me, Mrs. Bunting, and I had hoped that you and your husband were abstainers.
But we are, sir. We don't keep nothing about. I would have had to go out and...
Of course. Oh, I'm sorry, Mrs. Bunting. I fear I spoke sharply. I don't wish you to think me rude. After all, you've been so kind, considerate.
I hope I know a gentleman when I see one.
Thank you very much.
Now, I'll just hurry with your supper.
Well, so much for a quiet place to stay with that musical group in the room.
You right?
You mean
Come to the kitchen where he won't hear us.
he took it, Ellen?
Yes,
He took the room?
Yes.
Shit,
All
I
right
know,
now.
right? Jeez.
Look, 30 shillings. a week in advance.
Oh, it's wonderful. Wonderful.
It's going to be a
I
lot
didn't
of
even see
broom
what this
bashing
means.
on,
Yes,
side
you can
walls
have
or
Daisy
ceilings,
now.
depending
Yes.
on where they're
Here,
lodging
Bunting,
it.
warm that teapot
Yeah.
and put some tea leaves in it.
Righto, righto. Yeah, do you know something, old girl? We're not going to worry too much about Daisy being in danger of that Avenger fella.
Whatever do you mean, Robbie?
Well, she's not a girl who takes a drink, you know.
What's that to do with it, please?
Oh, something I read in the paper while he was upstairs with the gentleman. They just found out that every one of the Avenger's victims had been drinking. They figured he must be some kind of a rabid abstainer.
A rabid abstainer. So is he foaming at the mouth
Now
when
hurry,
he
Bunting,
kills the
please.
women that are drinking booze?
Two thoughts. Two thoughts only.
No,
doesn't enter his mind.
he's avoiding
The lodger's
alcohol
light
so
supper and her own good fortune
fiercely
at
that
having such a
people
lodger.
around him are dying from it.
Mr. Sleuth was an eccentric sort, but then he was
From
such
the
a
abstention.
gentleman, so quiet, so very religiously inclined. She started up a staircase to Mr. Sleuth's room.
See, like,
Her
the
husband
clues
at her
are
side.
there. Like,
Won't know how to be safe, though, once Daisy is back in London, eh?
Clues?
We'll see
These
if
aren't
she stays
clues, these are
closer to the
tells.
house, hmm?
yeah,
Well,
true.
I'll go downstairs.
True.
Hurry up with your supper, old girl.
She hath cast down many wounded from her. Yea, many strong men have been slain by her. Come in. And to know the
Aminis
wickedness of folly.
Dominus, amen.
Yes. What is it?
Those pictures. Those pretty girls. You've turned all their faces to the wall.
Dun, dun, dun,
Dun, dun,
dun, dun,
dun.
dun.
Is that a subtle clue? Why, no, ma'am. It's a baseball bat upside your
That
temple.
strange action
Bum,
was the beginning of
ba-da-da.
Eden's
No,
concern.
it's the chorus from
Soon there came to her a recollection of the black
from
invalid's cape, the
Munchkinville.
small,
What
narrow
was it
bag,
called?
the urgent
Munchkinland?
matter of alcoholic
I think
drink.
so.
No.
And these details began to
Munchkin
shape
City?
themselves into a
No.
pattern which grew more disturbing with each passing hour.
I think it's Munchkin City.
The Lollipop Guild
The
and the
lodger did not
Munchkin,
leave the upstairs
whatever.
room once. nor
Lullaby
leave the
League.
next day.
Lullaby League.
And the oddness of this took its place in the pattern. Then, too, the approaching arrival of Daisy, her stepdaughter, added to her concern. On the second night, her sleep was restless with vague, horrifying images. And so, when she heard the first stealthy footsteps outside her bedroom,
She knew she was
was
doomed.
instantly awake.
Dun dun dun. Because she had had a scotch before she went to bed, and now the rabid abstainer is about to drool all over her. Oh,
Down the hallway, she heard the front door open, and then click shut. Utter stillness fell upon the house. And outside,
There's always a chance that he uses the foam coming out of his mouth as means to get a close shave.
Told the hour. In her troubled frenzy, she pictured a lone figure plodding through the deep fog, moving quietly, stealthily, stalking.
Dear God, not the deep fog.
searching,
not this
following.
quietly and stealthily.
What, until the brass section had a
Soon
stroke?
after she heard the lodger
Right?
return, she sought to quiet the horrible dread which had possessed her. She assured herself that Daisy's arrival that day was
Is
no
there any
cause
other
for
kind
alarm.
of dread but
Now she
horrible
reasoned,
dread? Oh, right, existential
How
dread.
could
Never
there be
mind.
anything really evil about so religious a
Well,
gentleman
there's
as Mr.
diet
Sleuth?
dread, but you don't
For
hear
her
about
was
that
no
one so
sleep,
much.
Merely a tormented state of half consciousness. A state which suddenly dropped from her shortly after daybreak. Horrible murder.
What?
That was the piercing scream of a newsboy far down the street.
Enunciate,
Bunting heard the
newsboy.
cry out the Avenger's latest stroke, made during the night.
Sure, newsboy's like, oh, that's the phone. What the? What is the
I mean, how on earth are you supposed to sell newspapers if nobody can hear what you're saying?
I know. Somebody killed the orchestra. Thank you. Oh, God, they're back. The orchestra must
Helen's
have
first
Voorhees
glimpse
blood.
that morning of the grave-faced lodger
Ah,
brought the sleepless
segues.
night's worn terror full to the surface. But on the next instant, she saw the pitiable, helpless weariness in his eyes.
Well, at least they've
And curiously,
given the string
terror
section
began to
something
pass.
to do.
Right?
She found that she was hoping desperately that her fears were
You
unfounded.
gotta build a suspense. What better way to do
Earlier,
that
she
than
had
with the
determined to
string
tell Bunting of
section?
the awful convictions in her
This
mind.
is how fiddle
Now,
players get
however,
carpal tunnel.
She felt she must be certain. Certain before she spoke to a soul. She knew there was one thing she must examine. That was the lodger's single piece of luggage. She'd thought of it often. What could it hold? Not much in the way of clothing, surely. It was too small, too narrow. It was more like a case.
Too narrow for
Case of
clothing.
life. was along
What if
toward
all he
noon
brought
that
with
the
him was a
farm
change of
operative
socks?
searched the lodger's room. Soon after Bunting left to meet Daisy, Mr. Sleuth himself walked from the house.
So we
Ellen
have a
watched the
Bunting,
tall,
a
thin figure in
Daisy,
the
and a
vacuum with his
Sleuth.
cape disappear down the street, and then
And Avenger.
she rushed
And
upstairs,
Avenger, right?
into the room. Quickly, she moved to the closet. It was no different from what it had always been, utterly empty. She found nothing under the
I'm
bed.
waiting
She
for
went
the
then
Crimson
just across
Dynamo to
against the
show
wall.
up.
She opened the top drawer and found inside nothing but a frayed shirt, 2 handkerchiefs. The next drawer, underclothes, socks. The next empty. There remained then only one possible place for the small, narrow bag, the bottom drawer, and it was locked. Tugging at the drawer, she heard suddenly the opening of the front door downstairs. Panic-stricken, she rushed out of the room and down the hall to the head of the stairs.
Is panic-stricken.
Ellen, Daisy's here.
Oh, Mother Ellen, it's so good to see you. And whatever's the matter?
Yes, you've gone quite white.
Oh, well, I'm all right. I wasn't
That's
expecting
racist.
you so soon.
Oh, you don't know how fine it is to be back, Mother Ellen. Oh, the country's all right in its way, but there's nothing like London now, is there?
No, there isn't.
But as long
No,
as
it's
that adventure's
nothing
about,
like London
I can
and
see
that
we're gonna have to do
wonderfully
something about
yeah.
these blonde locks, eh, Ellen?
Oh, don't worry about
New
that.
York,
I'll
Chicago.
dye 'em maybe, or just pin them under my hat.
Daisy, I might as well...
Gotham, Metropolis.
No,
I mean,
Mother, isn't
come
there
on.
just like her?
Yeah.
She's straight to the point, and no fuss.
Boy, I'll bet a sixpence you'll have a dust cloth in your head.
Burning
before you've
Daisy,
got-
Bunting Daisy Sleuth. Mr. Bunting Daisy Sleuth. That's a good one.
Mrs. Bunting, I see my door is open.
Oh, we were just leaving, so we...
Does this mean that all of you have been in my room?
Oh, not at all, sir.
What must I do? Keep it locked?
But you see, sir, I was just tidying up a bit, and Mr. Bunting, he brought his daughter up, sir. She just arrived. This is Daisy, sir.
No
Pleased to
worse
meet
than
you,
Mr.
sir.
Calvin Carnation Twant.
She's been away for quite a long while.
This
you
is
see.
Daisy, sir. She likes
That's why
wine
we're
in the
a bit
evening.
excited, you
Oh,
know.
let me
Yes,
note
she
that
must
down.
have been surprising
She's
us
my
then
next
and
victim.
Hearing us laughing and carrying on that.
God, Daisy's a wine mom.
Fancy I was. However, Miss Daisy, there are all types of joy, are there not?
Don't let the kids in.
I'm sure there are.
The despicable evil joy of the abandoned.
Despicable
the divine happiness
evil.
of the blessed.
Is there any other kind
A
of
vast
evil?
difference, that. You do understand
I have
me,
to
don't
say,
you?
I do prefer evil to evil.
Yes.
I about to hope so, Miss Daisy. Nowadays there are so
I
many
enjoy the
young women.
evil like the fruits of the devil.
Yeah.
In fact, I all but despaired ever of finding
It's a lot
one.
more dramatic to be
If you'll
evil.
excuse us now, sir, we'll be getting Daisy's things put away.
Well, yes, just like it's more dramatic when there's a threat to
Believe me,
the
Miss Daisy,
if.
it's been a
Yep.
revelation to meet you.
Oh, thank you, sir.
I'm sure we shall have much to discuss.
I'm sure there's much to
It's a
discuss.
queer one, all right. But such a gentleman, isn't he?
Yes, of course. He's very gentlemanly until he finds out that you're on the booth and then he kills your ass. Stealthily and quietly, by the way.
At that moment,
Indeed.
Ellen
I
had been
prefer
determined to
evil.
pour out her terrible knowledge. She told herself that perhaps the past few days were
Evil.
nothing more than a grim illusion, a tormenting play of imagination.
It's not grim, it's grime.
Until she had attended the coroner's inquest into the last.
It's a grime illusion.
There, perhaps, she could hear evidence to disprove all her fears, to assure her there was no earthly harm in Daisy being so near the lodger. This was her gravest concern now.
And she
for
was
the next
under
day,
his
Mr.
cape,
Sleuth
but
was
hey.
required to see the girl more
Right?
than once.
There's no accounting for taste, and she could taste quite a lot from that place. Anyway.
As Ellen was preparing to step out to the inquest, she heard once more the voices of her stepdaughter and the lodger coming to her through the kitchen door. She hesitated before entering. Tense. Strangely apprehensive.
Mrs. Sleuth, I've never known a gentleman with such funny ideas. Oh, Mother Ellen, you should hear what Mr. Sleuth was just saying.
Perhaps, Daisy, you would excuse yourself and...
He thinks people, and especially girls, should spend all their time praying.
I sought to explain, Mrs. Bunting, that all women are placed on this earth filled with evil. They
Evil.
therefore must struggle constantly
Yep.
to find the path.
There's another sledgehammer
Why,
clue.
Mr. Sleuth, you mean
Yep.
a girl's not to enjoy life at all? Not to have fun?
Frivolity, my child, is the devil's breeding ground. And all his
I
implements
thought that was
are
idle hands.
temptation,
Now I'm confused.
pleasure, wine.
I thought it was wasted sperm.
Oh, that's crazy.
Oh.
Well,
I've
there's
always
nothing
heard
I
idle
better
hands
than
for
a
the
glass
devil's
of
playground,
wine,
but now
and
he's
I'm
saying
You
this, so
drink.
now I'm confused. I don't know. Damn it. You learn one thing all your life, and then you learn something new from an old
Just a child. And
TV, radio show, and now you're all
Say
confused.
nothing
Damn it.
wrong.
Yes.
What's the harm in a glass of
Quit
wine?
changing
She
it.
lieth in wait as for a prey.
See, she's a wine mom.
Transgressors among men.
I don't know what you mean. I never heard such nonsense.
You call Holy Scripture nonsense? So what I prayed against is true. You are beyond salvation.
That's not so. I'm a good girl, I am, and I won't have you saying that.
Daisy, go into the front room.
Quite all right, Mrs. Bunting. I must be going upstairs anyway.
Let us give
I
you a
used to
sniff
be misunderstood,
test to
you know.
determine your goodness.
People never realize that my
Perhaps
efforts
you're
are
simply
for the greater good of humanity.
evil, but not past your
And the
expiration
power
date.
on high will direct my hand toward the expulsion of all evil.
Right. As I go up the
Daisy,
stairs, I'm giving
Daisy,
you
listen
total
to me.
hints that I am the person that's
I've got
been
to tell you
killing
about-
everybody that's been cavorting
about-
around because
about what?
everybody's evil but me.
Nothing. I've got to go out for a while now. I'll be back.
The devil has multiple playgrounds. Diversity is his strength.
Okay, that's a good one.
The moment of
That
fear
is
was
well
before her
played.
had
Yes,
come again
it is.
and passed. Ellen's sudden recollection of Mr. Sleuth as he stood in the
That
doorway
should go on a
overwhelmed
t-shirt.
her.
Yes.
She must give him this last chance, this last frantic search for disproving evidence, this trip to the inquest. If that chance should fail, then she would tell Bunting or the police. So with the knowledge that
Bunting.
Bunting was left in the house to look after Daisy.
Does anyone in
she
this
began
show have a
down
real
train
name?
bound for
Probably
Paradise
not.
Court. But as the train pulled
Bunting
away
is a
from the station,
decoration. Daisy is a
torture
flower.
came to her, began to
Sleuth
run
is a
through her mind.
detective. Avenger is...
It was the sudden realization that
Avenger.
provided Sleuth was
Yeah.
murder, she was equally
I
responsible
wonder
for
if
his
this was the
crime.
No
show that gave Bruce Willis and Demi Moore the inspiration to call their three children Rumor, Scout, and Tallulah Bell.
If anything should happen to Daisy,
Maybe.
she would be equally guilty.
See, the guy is hearing voices. Clearly, he's not
The
well.
Avenger.
I don't hear voices as much as I see misspellings.
So
Once again, the orchestra has clues that the public is not privy to.
right? So they're setting the scene. Somebody's about to
Holy
get
shit,
killed.
they broke out a harp.
Ellen,
You're getting fancy now. Big budget.
Things are getting serious now.
Yeah.
And from one of them, she found the first hope she had known for many days. This witness lived next to the alley in which the Avenger had committed his crime that night. She had seen him from her window, and the man she described in no way resembled Ellen's lodger. But in another moment, Ellen's hope was swept away. It was pointed out that the fog had been so heavy that night that the witness could not possibly have seen the murderer from her window. She left the stand, replayed
Damn
by
that
Mr.
fog.
Cannot.
Always obscuring a
This
good
elderly
witness.
gentleman was certain that he had not only seen, but talked with the Avenger. It was in Regent's Park, he testified, only a few moments before...
A few moments before the murder, Mr. Coroner, when I saw him.
Mr.
He was
Coroner?
quite a tall man, very
Did
gaunt
he say
looking,
Mr.
and
Coronet?
carrying a handbag.
Mr. Coroner,
A
but he
handbag,
said
you
it, but he
Oh,
accented
Mr.
the R,
Coroner,
so it was
okay.
Coroner.
Such a bag, I
He
might
said
add,
Coroner.
as might contain...
Like the R was a D or some shit.
I'm surprised they didn't just name him Mr.
Ellen heard these
Dead
words,
Fiddler.
the tension which had been mounting up within her became almost unbearable. Rigid
Mr.
with
Corpse
horror,
Cutter?
She gripped the arms of her chair. She
Yeah.
heard the coroner.
Yes, because they have such imaginative names in this show.
And now, Mr. Kennett, I understand you heard this man speak.
Oh, yes, he had a rather
You
high...
say Mr. Cannon?
Yes.
An educated man, I would judge, but quite mad.
What do you mean by
Where are
that?
the
As
Smiths?
he emerged from the fog, he was talking aloud to himself. Believe me, sir, he was reciting scriptures from the Bible.
Oh, believe me, sir.
As opposed to scripture from the works of Sir Arthur Conan Doyle?
The Bible. Horrified, Ellen
Alas,
could see
Yorick,
only half
I
hearing
knew
the
him
refusal
well.
about her.
Yeah.
Are you asking us
He
to
emerged
believe
from the fog
I would
reciting
say, Mr.
Shakespeare.
Kennett, that the man we're looking for would be least of all a religious man?
And that's where you're in error, Mr. Coroner. The religious note is the very key to the case.
Because, you know,
Very interesting.
stereotypically speaking,
That'll
most
be all, Mr.
schizophrenic
Kennett.
people
Just
that
a
hear
moment, sir.
voices are hearing
Just
voices
you
of
understand.
God.
The man you're after. Of
course.
Must be a religious maniac. That's the only explanation possible.
You will please stand down.
The only explanation
She was
possible.
missing the very truth. Ellen knew that now. She would no longer keep silent.
I'm
Her hands
surprised
shook
there's
forth.
not a Murray Erner.
The burden speaking changes.
Oh, that's awesome.
When she arrived a few moments later, she said nothing. Her brain was in too great a turmoil. Her nerves too shocked.
You know, we
Right,
start
yeah.
getting getting enough people in here heckling these things with us from the live chat. I'm going to start doing like surveys on the channel
Yeah, that bit about
for
Yeah.
the chatter of the episode that has the best
As Ellen
heckle.
Bunting proceeded home with the remarks,
Oh, yeah.
spectators remained in her mind. She heard them over and over.
Yeah, that bit about the knife. No, and just such a bag is like...
Pretty soon we should meet Roger Stabbington.
We'll see. She's He's close
Right?
in the house, eh? No harm in being safe.
Wait, are we visiting the past in a memory, or is someone being hypnotized?
What's the harm in a glass of wine? I didn't say nothing wrong.
As Ellen neared her neighborhood, her dread increased. With each moving footstep, the grip of terror grew tighter about her. She moved faster. If only she were in time. She was 2 streets away from the house. Then one. Then she saw Bunting. Sharply, like the thrust of a knife, she realized what this meant. Daisy was left alone with the lodger.
That's when you need the dun dun dun. That's when you need the dun dun dun.
Oh, Bunting, tell me, Bunting.
Yeah.
Where's Daisy? Where is she? I say, where?
Bad
Where?
conducting.
Oh, listen to me. Try to understand. Sleuth is the Avenger.
What are you saying?
Oh, Lodger, he's the Avenger, Bunting. Oh, but there's no time for that. Daisy's in danger. Hurry.
Yes. Daisy.
There's no time for that, but you had enough time to stop and tell him who the Avenger was.
Yeah.
Make up your mind, woman.
Here we are, Bunting.
It's like, we have no time for this, but I'm telling you this because you need to know this, but we have no time for this.
Bunting, you try the sitting room. Daisy! Where are you, Daisy?
Answer me, Daisy!
Oh,
What?
Who?
she's not here. What about the dining room?
Look, she's not.
Can't answer because her mouth is full.
Then there's just his room.
It's just his room. I like that minute pause.
Yeah.
Go on. Open the door.
We're gonna get a jump scare. Ah! This isn't a jump scare. This is a slowly rising from your seat scare.
Right?
If the music's any clue.
Okay, Mr. Hitchcock. Track cut and clear.
Did you say cut? What's the idea, Hitch? I've a few more lines to do.
As Mr. Marshall, the narrator, you have, not as Mr. Sleuth, the lodger.
Hitch, you can't stop the play right here. It isn't fair, you know.
Why isn't it, Bart? What more is there to say?
But Mr. Hitchcock, won't people want to know what Bunting and me found in the room?
All right, Ellen. What precisely did you find?
Well, nothing, sir.
There. You see? Nothing. No lodger, no Bible. And that locked dresser drawer. What about that?
We unlocked it, sir.
And what was in it?
Nothing, sir.
You are certain, Mrs. Bunting?
Oh,
No.
You gave me quite a turn, Mr. Mr. Marshall. Yes, sir, I'm sure, sir. There was nothing.
Well, begging your pardon, Mr. Hitchcock, but don't you think we'd better just mention about Daisy?
I don't know, Bunting. What do you think we ought to say?
Oh, just that the reason she wasn't in the house when Ellen and me got there was, well, she'd gone out for a walk.
Because no one finished the script, apparently.
Did she enjoy it?
Right?
Very much, sir. Made it to King's Cross and back in just under an hour, sir.
I don't know what they're intending to
There
do
you
with
are,
this.
Bob. There's the story.
Now, wait a minute, Mr. Hitchcock. You can't do that. That's not the story.
Of course it's not. Now, look here, Hitch. Here's the fellow who composed and conducted all our music, Wilbur Hatch. He wants to know about
Now
this,
that-
too. Everybody does.
Yeah, everybody
All right,
wants to
Bob.
know who the fuck.
What is it they want to know?
What became of Mr. Sleuth?
Yeah,
Oh, him.
stupid.
Why, he left that afternoon. They never saw him again. And now I think we ought to say something about the Columbia
Mr.
forecast shows
Hitchcock,
for...
sir, will you please...
Stop him, Mr. Marshall.
Hitch, listen to me.
Yes? What is it?
They want to know when the Avenger finally was caught.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you something, Bart. Are you acquainted with Loretta Young?
Yes, what's that got to do with it?
Yeah.
Well, in next week's Columbia Preview series, Miss Young will take the starring role in the drama of an American Red Cross nurse. That's good news, isn't it?
Oh, that's great.
So what the fuck
What's
is that
happening
gonna do with
here?
who the lodger is?
You've just got to tell that audience exactly when and how Mr. Sleuth was caught.
Yeah.
Caught? Why on earth should he be caught?
Why? Well, he was the Avenger, wasn't he?
Was he?
Oh, okay, I see what he's doing. That's how he's keeping everybody in suspense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that and this music.
Yeah.
Your guess, gentle listener, is as good as ours. Even Mrs. Bella Glounce, who wrote the novel, isn't entirely sure.
Now, how the fuck? Okay, I'm gonna stop it there.
Seriously?
If
Seriously?
you wrote the novel, you wrote it. How are you not sure? You wrote it.
That was a novel? Shit.
That wasn't.
How short was this? What was a novel back then? 4 pages?
I don't. No clue. All I know is if she wrote the thing, how does she not know that Sleuth was the Avenger?
Sleuth wasn't the Avenger.
But
It's. I think the obvious thing here is that they mean to leave it open ended, so the viewer / listener can can argue about it with it's a way to keep the topic going after the show expires.
Yeah, true.
But the reason I don't think Sleuth was the Avenger was because of all the people's names.
Yeah, that was just dumb.
Yeah.
Okay, for those of you that do not understand who this mug is on the screen, that is Johnny Dollar, and we are about to watch episode 2 of yours truly, Johnny Dollar, named The Markham Matter.
Markham Asylum? Yeah.
From Hollywood, it's time now for...
Dollar.
This is Ed Porter, Mr. Dollar. You called my office?
Yes, I'd like to see you as soon as I can, Mr. Porter.
Well, of course. How long have you been in town?
About a half an hour.
Are you all squared away?
I've got a room and I've had a bath, if that's what you mean.
Well, then I guess you're ready to go to work.
I will be as soon as I put on some pants.
You sound in a rush.
I don't...
I'm always in a rush when I think somebody might be chipping us out of $100,000.
Yeah, I'd be in a rush too.
And I really respect the way they jump right into that story.
Yeah.
With the
Bob
that
Bailey
phone call
in the
at the
transcribed
opening.
adventures of the man with the action-packed expense account, America's fabulous freelance insurance investigator.
Yours truly,
Johnny Dollar.
Johnny Dollar.
Yours truly, Sally Buck and a half.
Yours truly, 50 cent piece.
Expense account submitted by Special Investigator Johnny Dollar to Western Life and Trust Company, 826 Spear Boulevard, Hartford, Connecticut. The following is an account of expenses incurred during my investigation of the Markham matter. Expense account item 1,
One French horn,
$143.69, air transportation from Hartford to San Francisco. Item 2, $17 for incidentals along the way, including transportation from the airport to the St. Francis Hotel. I walked the 8 blocks to the Commodore building where Ed Porter had his office
It's
on the
like
fourth
every
floor.
time you list stuff off this
He was a short,
expense
thin
report, I'm like,
insurance broker
goddamn,
with a
shit
face
was
like
so
a tight
cheap
drum.
back then.
He
I know.
apologized for the clammy weather as though it were his fault. He asked me how things were out on the East Coast and invited me to sit down and looked as uncomfortable as he was.
I got the telegram you were coming last night. Investigator. I've never met one in all my years in the business. Must be very interesting work.
Yeah. Look, I don't
It's
want
a
to take
living.
up too much of your time, Mr. Porter, but I would like to get some information from you.
Oh, certainly, Mr. Dollar.
Well,
can
what,
you
the
tell me
guy's
about a
name
man
isn't
named
Mr.
Floyd Markham?
Guilty?
Markham? Well, he's the husband of a client of mine. I've met him, but I really can't tell you too much about him. My dealings have
Markham? I
always been
hardly
with
even
Mrs.
know him.
Markham. She's my customer.
Then tell me about Mrs. Markham.
Oh, certainly. I'm not going to ask why. I'm sure you have a good reason for coming all the way to San Francisco.
The Home Office thinks I have an excellent reason.
Yes.
Yes.
Mrs. Markham. Well, I've known her for 20 years as a customer. She's wealthy, always has been, and she handles her money well, and she lives rather well.
Mrs. Markham's the one who has the money, huh?
Mr. Markham is a salaried man, an industrial engineer. Frankly, I think he depends on Mrs. Markham for his livelihood.
Yeah.
Great Badger, you're on a roll.
These 2 checks were issued to Mrs. Markham this year.
I know what I think about
Recognize
accounting.
them?
Action-packed springs to mind.
Yes, full payments on 2 endowment policies, $50,000 apiece. And they've cleared the bank. Anything wrong with them?
Nothing wrong
Our
with
eyes
checks.
met as I was
On
debating
payoffs
whether or
like
not
this,
to
I
leave the
always
waitress
take it
a
in
tip.
person. It's a custom, of
Right.
course, to call and
Hey,
make an appointment and
Pat.
deliver the check to the client.
Mhm.
Hey,
And try
Pat.
to sell a little more insurance in the
Oh,
bargain.
Jesus.
Well, that's about the idea, yes.
Yeah. Anything strange about Mrs. Markham when you delivered either one of these checks?
But no.
Before
just
I
the
left
smell
Hartford, I looked
emanating
up her
from her
insurance
dress.
records. Her premiums are always paid right on the
Hey,
button.
Pat, if you want to hop in, let me
Mrs.
know when
Markham
you're in the
doesn't
waiting
have a
room,
business
honey. I'll
office
pull
or a
you in.
business manager handling her affairs. The checks are always personal checks on her personal account. Now, can you explain why someone like that might forget a 3rd endowment policy?
Why, no.
Well, there is a 3rd endowment policy. It matured this month. I have the check
Wow,
with me
she was well endowed.
for $50,000.
Yes.
Well, yes, but this
Very
business
well
of
endowed.
Floyd Markham called Hartford and spoke to the head of the endowment division. He explained that Mrs. Markham was ill and didn't know whether or not a 3rd policy existed. He said he was checking for
Well,
her.
syphilis will do that to you.
Yeah.
Now, you say you've known Mrs. Markham over a period of 20
All
years.
those well endowments. Oof.
Well, is she the
Yes.
kind of person who'd forget $50,000?
I wouldn't
No
forget
one forgets
$50,000.
$50,000.
No, but she's forgot a
Did
condom
you
or two.
notice that
Yeah.
both of those checks were deposited in the Markham's joint account?
Well, no. Oh. So they were.
So they were.
Maybe Mrs. Markham's feeling generous these days.
Why do you say that?
Well, they have a rather strange relationship as far as I've been able to perceive. I mean, what money he makes is his, and what she has is hers.
Oh, yeah.
I always like to get out of that house because they never seem to me to be a very close couple in any way. But this seems to make sense now.
How's that, Mr. Porter?
No, a logical couple is separate bank accounts with a joint bank account for paying bills.
The first time I went over, Mrs. Markham was ill.
Yeah, problems with the relationship would be if they're sleeping in separate rooms.
Well, who accepted the checks?
Mr. Markham.
Both times?
And with whom?
Yes. As a matter of fact, now that I think of it, he made the appointment on the phone both times.
When was the last time you saw Mrs. Markham?
Last spring.
Oh, there it is. That was close.
A check with the bank revealed that Mrs. Markham had not personally made a deposit since June the 18th. The deposit slips were initialed by Floyd Markham. The checks were endorsed
Is
by
the
Leslie
endowment
Markham.
division the opposite of the
There had been
itty-bitty-titty
no
committee?
unusual
Yes.
withdrawal.
Yes.
Expense account item 3, $30, stenographic and notary services for the attached statements.
Mrs. Markham's been having her hair done here for nearly 10 years now. Once a week, every Thursday morning. Then she just stopped. I called her home, and Mr. Markham informed me that she was away on an extended trip. Mr. Markham called us, it was last June, and informed us that Mrs. Markham was resigning her membership in the bridge club. I telephoned the house twice to see what was the matter. Mr. Markham answered both times and said Mrs. Markham was out.
Well, she used to come in here 2 or 3 times a month. Made us go over the car from top to bottom. She hasn't been around now for 7 or 8 months. I don't know who's taking care of the car.
I don't know, but...
Expense account item 4, 30 cents, 3 phone calls to the Markham residence.
The orchestra's getting too into it,
particular
though.
business. I
Right.
simply asked to speak to Mrs. Markham.
It's like there was a
Each
whole bunch
time I
of
called, a
oblivious
male
people in
voice
that
answered.
damn neighborhood.
Each time, the male voice told me Mrs. Markham was out, she was ill, and she was away on a short trip.
She was out dogging.
How many short trips you
Industrial
gotta be
Management
out on
Limited,
before
Floyd B.
people
Markham,
realize you
president,
missed
has a 3-room office suite near the Embarcadero. 10 years ago, it had been sensationally new and glassy. When I got there, the carpet was a little too thin and the varnish a little too thin, too. The whole place smelled
Too
faintly of
thin,
mildew.
too?
Yes.
Is that a Chinese
Yes.
kid?
I'd like to see Mr. Markham, please.
No, that's
You have
too
an
warm
appointment?
food.
No, not
Oh,
exactly. My name is Harris. I'm with the Cleveland Pump Company.
Pump company.
She was out
Yes,
getting her
we're
free
setting in
flight.
38 of our installations at the new plant in Valparaiso. Didn't you get my letter?
Well, I'm sorry. I'm afraid... May I ask your name again?
Harris, Stephen B. Harris, Cleveland Pump Company.
Oh, yes. Well, Mr. Harris, I'm afraid Mr. Markham never received your letter. When did you mail it?
30 days ago. Maybe it was 2 weeks. Well, tell Mr. Markham I'm here and I'll...
I'm sorry, Mr. Harris. Mr. Markham isn't in the office just now.
Oh, well, I'll wait.
Well, he's busy answering the phone at home,
well-
telling everybody his wife's on vacation.
Well,
He won't be in today. As a matter of fact, he won't be in the rest of the week.
where can I call him?
No, he's
I'm
on that
afraid that's
extended vacation,
impossible.
too.
Can't I call him at home?
No.
He
Now, look,
vacations
is he in
himself.
business or isn't he?
Mr. Harris, Mr. Markham hasn't been in the office for 6 months or more.
See, he vacationed himself.
He's tied up on a rather long-range project.
What's your name?
I'm Miss Bidler.
Why didn't you say that in the
Trying to
first place,
convince
Miss
people
Bidler?
that your wife is on
Who else can I talk to
vacation is
here?
a long-range
No
project.
one, I'm afraid.
Got it.
You mean that's all there is in this office? Just you and him?
Meaning
When he
she
feels
finally
like
found a
coming
long
in?
cock.
I'll tell Mr. Markham you were here.
I'll tell Mr. Markham you were here.
The Markham house was on Fiorella Street, about 6 blocks from the Fairmont Hotel. Stone walls, iron grillwork, tangling ivy. An old house that had been built by rich people for rich people to live in. The kind of
Well,
shabby
that's
looking
a good
place that
thing.
only New Yorkers and San Franciscans can get by with and still be called wealthy. I used Ed Porter's car with the Western Life and Trust Company emblem on the door, parked it in the driveway as close as I could to the entrance. It was
So I made
exactly
myself as
1
obvious
o'clock
as
when the
possible.
door opened. He was tall and pretty, with black hair and broad shoulders.
Yes?
Tall and
Is
pretty.
it?
2 words I didn't...
I'd like to see
well,
Mrs. Markham,
One word I
please.
wouldn't
I'm
associate
Mr.
with a dude,
Markham.
but...
Can I help you?
Yeah.
My name's Dollar. I'm with Western Life and Trust Company. Mr. Porter called you?
No, he didn't.
Oh, well, I must have slipped his mind. He said he was going to call.
What's it about?
I brought a check from Mrs. Markham
About 13
on her
pounds.
third endowment
Right.
policy.
Oh.
TMI, man.
Well, I'll give it to her. She isn't in right now.
Well, I'm supposed to deliver it to her.
Who's in her?
I'll come back another time when she's in.
No, you can give it to me. I'll see that she gets it.
I'm sorry, Mr. Markham, but I have to
Look,
give
I know you want to give her the check and try to sell her some more insurance. She's just not in the market. And you can save your little spiel where it'll do some good.
Oh, you misunderstand me, Mr. Markham. I have to deliver this to her in person.
What's your name again?
Dollar. Johnny Dollar.
Come in.
I'll wait till she comes back and make an appointment. Mr. Porter told me he'd made it for 3 today.
She's here. Just come in.
Why the runaround, then?
Mrs. Markham is desperately ill. I don't want to disturb her with things like this.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that.
Huh.
What's the trouble?
Very serious.
Yo, you minimized it.
So if
Oh,
you'll
shit.
just give me the
I have
check,
a report to make out when I deliver this.
I just
Only take a minute
Cancer
to handle
brain.
the check.
Chemo brain.
And it'll be
Yeah,
off my
chemo
mind
brain.
and off your mind.
Now, look here, Mr.
Didn't you call the company's home office about this check?
I called because Mrs. Markham requested me to call.
Oh, yes.
Just wait here.
In the little swirl of his exit, I smelled shaving lotion and guessed at the brand name. I also guessed that his
Aqua
suit
Velva?
cost $300, even if I didn't know what San Francisco tailor had made it. The shirt, the tie, the shoes were expensive, too. Yeah? Mr. Floyd Markham liked expensive things.
Yep. Well, you know.
I wondered if he dyed his hair to keep it all black. I wondered if he was 45 or 50.
I wondered if he liked expensive women.
That size on that kind of street a servant.
Wondered
hadn't
if he
answered
liked
the door.
well-endowed people. Oh.
This way, Mr. Dollar.
Yeah.
He led me up a flight of stairs and finally into a high-ceiling room with a fireplace at one end. A gray-haired woman with a sharp, angular face was seated near the window, looking out over the city and the bay. She didn't turn her head when we came into the room, but I could see that her eyes were watery and slightly glazed.
Please, don't take too long and don't upset her. Leslie. Leslie, dear.
Yes.
Dollar.
Boy.
Johnny Dollar.
This is
Insurance
Mr. Dollar
adjuster.
from
And
the
don't you
insurance
forget
company. He has something for you.
This is how Johnny Dollar
Be a
met
good
Mrs.
girl,
Bates.
Leslie. Speak to Mr. Dollar
How do you do?
and ask him.
Yes. How is Mr. Porter?
Oh, he's fine, Mrs. Markham, fine. He'll be sorry to hear that you've been ill.
I really would rather that you didn't tell Mr. Porter.
Oh.
I'm satisfied to make my own slow recovery and not worry any of my friends.
Small doses of Ridian 6 in the wine.
Like some sherry, Floyd.
Now, you know what the doctor said, Leslie.
Mr. Dollar, you'd like some sherry, wouldn't you?
Why, yes, I'd like that very much.
Floyd?
No, I'm sorry, Mr. Dollar. It's absolutely forbidden, and you know that, dear. Do you have the check, Mr. Dollar?
Yes, right here. Here you are, Mrs. Markham.
Thank you.
Is there anything else, Mr. Dollar?
Well,
Mr. Dollar?
Now, Leslie.
yes. What is it, Mrs. Markham?
I'm very tired. Excuse me if I seem impolite. Good day.
And that's what happens when you spike the
Good day,
drinks
Mrs. Markham.
with GHB.
Or you're slowly
Expense account
poisoning
item
your
5, 10
spouse
cents
with
phone
arsenic.
call to Ed Porter at his office.
Yes, Mr. Dollar?
Look, Mrs. Markham's 5'5", about 120, black hair, gray streak to the right of the part, blue eyes, looks about 40 years old, a good 40.
Why, yes, that sounds like her. You mean you've seen her?
I've seen what's left of her, Mr. Porter.
Oh, good Lord, she's not dead.
Almost.
What?
He's killing her, Mr. Porter. My guess is he's been at it for about 6 months.
Act 2 of yours truly,
Must
Johnny
recover
Dollar, in just a
from
moment.
illness.
Nobody
Can't
will take a
speak
frown at face value anymore now that the word has
normal
gotten around
rate.
about Jack Benny's return to the air. With Mary Livingston, Dennis Day, Rochester, Don Wilson, Mel Blanc, Frank Nelson, and Mr. Kitzel, nothing less than your very best smile will do for the occasion. Tonight and every Sunday night, hear CBS Radio's Jack Benny Show and give your sense of humor a real workout. Now, Act 2 of yours truly, Johnny Dollar, and the Markham Matter.
Take a rich old house on a rich old street in San Francisco. Walk in with a legitimate insurance check for $50,000 and tell a man named Floyd Markham you want to deliver it to his wife. Tell him this when you know that no one has seen or heard from his wife in 6 months. Just tell him you want to see her. Insist that you see her.
Yeah, that's what you did.
Then stand around and listen to him lie a couple of times.
Yeah.
Then let him take you to her.
Yeah,
Give her
you
the
did
check.
that too.
Say goodbye.
Yep.
20 minutes after I walked out of the Markham's house and picked up Ed Porter, we drove back to the house and parked 100 feet from the entrance.
This is the darndest thing I ever heard of, Mr. Dollar. I'm not sure it's all clear to me. What's our position?
Oh, I wouldn't know that, Mr. Porter. That's up to the legal department.
Our
This much
position
I'm
is
sure of
100
right now.
feet, 100 feet from the
Markham's
house.
already deposited $100,000 of her
What was that,
insurance
100
money into a
yards?
joint account. If I'm not mistaken, this last check will go into that account, too. Right now, while we're sitting here, she's probably endorsing that check.
Well, then I don't see where it's any of our
He's
business.
making her endorse the check. He's making her stay in that house, in that room, away from everybody.
Well, how? What way? He said she was ill. You said she appeared ill. I
don't know how he's doing it, but I'm going to find out.
Are you sure this isn't all surmise on your part?
You weren't in the room when she said, "Let's have some sherry. Please, let's have some sherry."
Well, I must be pretty
She was
dumb.
really trying to say she wanted him to leave the room so she could talk to me. So she could have one little minute to tell me what the matter is, what's going on. His next move is to deposit that check. Then one big withdrawal, the whole $150,000, and bye-bye Floyd Markham.
Mr. Dollar, I'm just an insurance broker. I don't understand that.
And he's an
How'd you like to be
investigator,
an
and you're not paying
investigator for
attention to what
about
the fuck he's trying to say.
Me?
Yeah.
Right.
You see that car that just pulled up in the driveway?
Well, yes,
The
yes.
girl driving it holds down that dummy office of Markham's. Her name's Beidler. She might be in on this with him.
And that's Mr. Markham leaving the house.
Good. Now, look, here's what you do. Follow them. I think I know where they're going, but you follow them and make sure.
Well, where are they going?
To the bank.
To the
deposit
bank,
that
stupid.
check.
You just got a fucking check for
where are you
$50,000.
To have that glass
dipshit.
of sherry, Mr. Porter. Ed Porter pulled his hat down low over his face and put both hands on the wheel and took out after that '55 Cadillac sedan.
Yeah, they'll never
I
see
crossed
him
the
now.
street, went
Right.
back up on the porch of
Once
the
you
house.
pull down your hat, you go
I didn't
stealth.
expect her to answer.
Oh, no, you're invisible.
I didn't expect anyone to
There's
answer,
nothing you
but
can
I
do
wanted
about
to
it.
make sure. I went around to the garden.
How did you see me? I
There
had my
wasn't a
hat down.
sound in the big old house when I opened the garden door and went up the stairs again. The door to her room was closed. She wasn't by the window anymore. She was stretched out on the divan. I felt her wrist for a pulse. It was there, faint, but there. About 3 inches up her arm, there was a series of little marks. I lifted one eyelid and felt her neck muscles. She was doped to the ears. Mrs. Markham. Mrs. Markham, can you hear me? Look, I've come to help you.
Me?
Yes. Yes, I'm going to take you out of here. Now, don't be frightened.
Mr. Dollar?
That's right. That's right. That's the ticket.
Insurance company.
Yes.
Now I remember.
Yes, that's right.
Thank you for bringing my check. I don't want
Want what, Mrs. Markham?
want any of my friends to worry.
Oh.
I'm improving, but I don't want them to know I'm ill. Just
That's the
say
booze
I'm
talking,
out of
lady.
town for a while.
He told you to say that, didn't he?
Yes. He told me to say exactly that. Mr. Dollar, don't fool me. Please don't fool me.
What?
You will help me get out of here. You aren't fooling me, are you? Are you?
I carried her downstairs and put her in my car and drove her to the St. Regis Emergency Hospital. Expense account item $6,100, deposit with the hospital office. I explained as much as necessary to the intern who promised to advise me when Mrs. Markham became rational. After that, I drove back to the house.
I don't think rational is the word you're
Ed
looking for. I
Porter's
think
blue coupe
lucid
was
is
parked
the word
across
you're
the
looking
street.
for.
Yeah. Agreed.
I didn't know what to do but come back here. And when I got back, I didn't know what to do either.
Slow down. You're doing fine.
Oh, you were right. You were absolutely right. They went straight to the Bank of America to deposit that money.
I kind of thought they might be back here by now.
No, they're over at Angelo's having a drink and some dinner. I followed them there.
You're getting to be quite a sleuth, Mr. Porter.
Well, I try to do my best and use my head. Mr. Dollar, did you talk to Mrs. Markham?
As much as I could. She was doped. I took her out and put her in the hospital.
Oh. Well, should you have done that, Mr. Dollar?
I could have left her up in that room to die, Mr. Porter.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, he had a choice.
Well,
considering the choice is hospital's better than dying.
Certainly. I can't quit now, Mr.
Well, that depends on the
Johnny.
hospital, I guess.
Well, let's go to Angelo's, Eddie.
They have to hook her up with an IV of D5W.
Ed Porter settled the hat lower on his ears and gripped the wheel harder, and we took off for Angelo's on Stoker Street.
Because gripping it lower on your ears makes you more aerodynamic.
When we got there, we didn't have to go inside to see if our people were still around. The Cadillac sedan was in the parking lot. So we took up a plant across the street.
Why
It's like leaning forward as you drive makes the car go faster.
Right.
Well, that might blow the whole thing. Now, we have to wait and see what Mrs. Markham has to say when she's well enough to talk.
Yeah, but...
I'm sure she'll have some charges to prefer. In the meantime, we wait and see what's what.
Yeah, what do you think he'll do when he goes home and finds her gone?
Well, that'll be pretty interesting. What do you think he'll do?
Well, I imagine he'll think she got up and walked out.
No, he knows better than that. He's had her doped up for 6 months. He knows he can go out of the house and she'll stay right where he left her while he's gone. No, that isn't it.
Oh. Well, then he'll know that she had help.
That's more like it, Mr. Porter.
This reminds me of these changes between Dr. Watson and Sherlock Holmes.
Okay, Eddie.
Kind of.
I'll answer the question.
What'll he do? Well, he'll try to get out of town. That's it. He'll try to leave town. He'll know that he's had it.
Come on.
Huh?
They're pulling out.
Oh, God.
We followed them to a cocktail lounge near the Presidio. We waited around outside the place for 2 hours. Expense account item 7, 25 cents. I called the St. Regis Receiving Hospital. Mrs. Markham's condition was unchanged. Item 8, $2, 2 hamburgers, 2 Cokes, and cigarettes for Mr. Porter and myself. We had just finished eating when Floyd Markham's Cadillac turned out onto the street. We followed it for 10 minutes. When Markham parked on a dark hill, we cut our lights and came to a stop.
That's what you do.
Mr. Dollar.
Yeah, Eddie.
Can you see what they're doing?
Hey, devil pup.
Yeah.
What?
Necking.
Huh?
Necking.
They're making out, stupid. Come on.
Telephone my
Don't
wife.
tell me you've been... You should telephone my wife.
No, they're
12:10,
necking. That
Floyd
means
Markham turned the car around and drove back
they're
into
fighting
town.
in the
We
manner
followed
of
once
giraffes.
more. We saw him double park outside a
He's
4-story
been married
apartment
for
house
so
on a
long,
steep
he
hill, let
doesn't
the
know
woman
what
out, then
necking
drive
is.
on.
Yeah.
Eddie,
Yeah, Johnny?
think you can handle something else alone?
Oh, I'd love to.
Women sometimes
Keep
talk
it in
a lot
your
easier
pants,
than
Johnny.
men. You keep on him. When he finds his wife absent, I want to know where he goes.
Wherever it is, I'll let you know. You gonna shake
He's all
her down?
gung-ho about this now.
Something like that. Get going.
He went from being nervous to being all gung-ho.
I watched my
'cause
new
now he thinks
assistant
he's gonna get into an
investigator follow out
escapade.
after
Right?
Markham's Cadillac. Then I went inside the apartment house. My Bidler was on the mailbox of apartment 104.
Maybe he'll get to touch a strange
I walked
booby
down
he
the
doesn't
hall,
know.
listened
Right.
a minute, then gave it a try.
We hope it's a well-endowed booby. Hoo-hoo.
Nobody does.
Yes? Well, what on earth are you doing?
I'm here
Yes,
to
this
see you,
is
Miss
Johnny
Bidler.
Dollar.
It's important.
You're, Mr. Harris.
I'm Mr. Dollar, Johnny Dollar. I'm an insurance investigator.
Oh. There was something about
Boy,
you
she sounded
today.
real
I
excited when she
wasn't
said
sure.
that.
Now,
Oh.
you're sure?
Oh, what are you doing?
Right now, I'm working for Western Life and Trust Company. You better sit down.
Well, I don't know that I'd better do anything, Mr. Dollar. You're rather rude.
Then you can stand.
Well,
We've
The
been
Pete's
checking
hanging
into
from the
Floyd
ceiling,
Markham.
lady.
I don't think I have to tell you what we found out so far.
She's not going to take this
I
line
think you
down.
also
She's
know
going to
that by this
stand
time
up.
tomorrow he'll be in jail, and you might be right along with him.
Well, I'm sorry, Mr. Dollar. I simply
Oh, don't be
un-
sorry. Just use your head. I said you might be right along with him. On the other hand, if you have some useful information, the insurance company might
other
be
words-
useful to you.
Open your
do
ears,
you
you
mean?
ditzy dame. Pay attention.
Well, I figure he sold you on an island trip or an estate in the country bill of goods. It'll be harder getting it out of him, but we'll get it one way or another. We'll get it all right.
I've never heard of the
What do
country
you wanna
bill
do?
of goods.
No.
I want a drink. You?
Oh, thanks.
He's on duty.
God, she's gonna be a dame now, okay?
Yeah, she's going to be a dame now.
I'm not bad. I'm
I'm
not
just
a
drawn
criminal.
that way.
I've never been in trouble.
You
I've never been in trouble.
You are now.
Why? Because I fell in love with him?
Because you were helping him kill her.
What are you talking about?
Mrs. Markham. She's in a hospital right now.
What?
I took her there myself today. He's had her doped with I don't know what for months. Having her sign checks, endorse deposit slips.
He's had a dope with confuse it all.
He told me that Mrs. Markham was out of town, divorcing him. I wondered how.
She's divorcing me from out of town? That's a weird story.
It was a country estate.
It never like occurred to her that all these checks he's been depositing with her endorsement is because she hasn't gone out of town?
Little harmless things that most people can never do.
Kimmy, what a ditzy broad.
He said we could do them as soon as he cleaned up his affairs.
Yeah, right.
Why, tonight he said we could start packing.
God, how will you get by without that orchestra?
I took Iris Byler with me back to the Markham house. The Cadillac was in the garage, and Ed Porter's blue coupe
Ladies
was
and
pulled
gentlemen,
across the street.
old-time radio
When he saw us in the
segue.
cab, he walked up.
Hi.
Hi. How's he
We
doing?
need a transition
Now,
here.
you can
Hit the
talk about
horns.
her.
Only he hasn't done anything. No, I mean, I saw the light go on upstairs in Mrs. Markham's room, then it went out again. He's downstairs now, sitting in the living room.
Okay. Wait here.
Which one of those guys is wearing heels?
Right? Which one of those guys is a little light in the loafing?
Hello, Markham.
Hello.
If you're worried about your wife, which I doubt, she's in a hospital.
Are you a policeman?
Insurance investigator. That's Miss Byler in the taxi over there.
Oh.
I want you to come with me now.
Of course. Yes. You said your name was Dollar.
That's right.
Why couldn't you have come around, say, next week?
Why couldn't you have been,
She'd have been dead
50
by then.
cents?
That's the way she should have been for 16 years.
Damn.
Dead.
What the
That's a
fuck
hell of
did
a
she ever
grudge.
do to you? Damn.
Come on, Markham.
Divorce is cheaper. Holy shit.
Is it?
Well,
Expense account item
okay.
9, $102, hotel and board in
I
San
don't think
Francisco.
they had
Item 10, $116. airfare
freedom
back to
from
Hartford.
consequence laws
Item
if you're a
11,
woman.
$42.16 miscellaneous.
true.
Remarks? This
Well,
one will
no
wind up
fault
in court.
divorce.
Right.
Mrs. Markham's charges will include attempted homicide, attempt to defraud, attempt to... In the end, it was his attempt to run away, and it didn't work. It never works.
Never works.
Even if you get away, you find something new to run from.
Even
Total
if you get
expenses,
away, people find your ass.
$968.20. Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Yours truly, orchestra fan.
Okay, and that's the end of that one.
Yours truly, price list. This is Johnny Dollar for Priceline.com.
If you wish to request any show to be on the show on Sundays, starting at 11:30 a.m. Central Standard Time, yes, this is the segue where I get to shill my shit. Then you can put it in the live chat. If you're a member of my Discord, you can put it in the Discord as well, or DM me on Twitter. Speaking of shilling, there's a link at the top of the live chat if you want to send me a little tip for this particular stream. Any tips and any support through Patreon or Ko-fi, hint, hint, shill, shill. And automatically your request is a priority request. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Any little bit of money will get your stuff pushed to the top of the list. Does this mean you have to pay to get your request played? Nope. It just gets played faster. Because I don't believe in making people pay for shit. Alright, and on that note, what?
Oh. See, I've got the Mitch memory. A piece of my brain just fell out.
Right?
What is it? It's the not retrospect. Not in conclusion. In summary, you can put it where you want, but ask for permission voiced.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, this is a new show. I don't think I introduced this in our old stuff. It was Let's George Do It. Let's George, if I can read, god damn it. Lips, mouth, new, just got yesterday, working out, not working, blah blah blah.
It's like you've just regenerated.
Right? Let George Do It was a radio drama series produced by Owen and Pauline Vinson from 1946 to 1954. It starred Bob Bailey, our dear Johnny Dollar, as detective for hire George Valentine. Clients came to Valentine's office after reading a newspaper carrying his classified ad. Personal notice, dangers my stock in trade. If the job's too tough for you to handle, you've got a job for me, George Valentine. The few earliest episodes were more sitcom than private eye shows, with the studio audience providing scattered laughter at the not-so-funny scripts. Soon the audience was banished, and George went from stumbling comedic hero to tough guy private eye, and the music from wah-wah-wah to suspenseful. Valentine's secretary was Claire Brooks, a.k.a. Brooksy, Frances Robinson, Virginia Gregg, and Lillian Bayef. As Valentine made his rounds in search of the bad guys, he usually encountered Brooksy's kid brother Sonny, Lieutenant Riley, and elevator man Caleb. For the first few shows, Sonny was George's assistant, but he was soon regulated to an occasional character. So now, let George do it. Episode 1, There Ain't No Justice. And double negatives make my eye twitch.
Personal notice, strangers my stock and trade. If the job's too tough for you to handle, you got a job for me, George Valentine.
Johnny Dollar.
Write full details.
Right?
That son of a bitchin' pipe organ's really getting on my last nerve. I think I'm going to call the police.
Right?
You motherfucker. Come over here, kid. I'll show you what happens with broken knuckles.
Worried about that lawnmower you lent the guy next door 2 years ago? Not just because he lost his memory when he went 10 rounds with Lewis is no reason to get yourself in a snit. My advice to you is let George do it. You know George Valentine. Take your problems to him.
The man with the suspenders.
Everybody else does. You'll find him in the phone book. That's where Abner found him, only Brooksy got him first.
Abner.
Brooksy fronts for George. And even over the phone, you'd know she's
perfect
for
Abner.
the job.
Are we getting a pizza?
But not our Abner. All he could do was confuse the issue.
Hello?
I would, but I can't, you see. It's a great
What?
ad. I've seen it lots of times. Oh, a
Wait.
great ad, I said to myself.
Oh.
There's the kind
Hello?
of a guy
I would
that
if I
when a
could,
guy's
you see.
Just a minute.
Oh,
Mr.
sorry.
Valentine.
What the hell happened?
Hello? Hello?
I minimized it again.
Yeah, I'm right here.
No.
I got it. No time to write, but who
No,
are
I think
you?
it
What's
was
your
in the
problem?
script.
Now, this is
Oh.
a real pleasure, sir. If you'll permit me, my name is Abner, and I'm in jail.
You what?
Only don't get me wrong. The reason I can't write is because I can't write. You understand?
Wait a minute. You said you were...
That's right, I'm in jail. And let me tell you, a more unjust thing has never happened to me. There ain't no justice.
Mr. Abner, slow down a little. I'm trying to write
It's
this.
important, that's all. There wouldn't be time to write either, I guess, for that matter. But the main thing is it's important. That's what I've got to make you understand, see? You get me?
Oh, sure,
Is
you make it
he
so
on the
easy.
phone with
Yeah,
Bugs
well,
Bunny?
I'm kind of excited. Because, you see,
Yeah.
the jail burned down.
What?
Oh, yeah. And you burned down with it.
Now, hold on. I mean the jail over in Melody. That's where I'm calling from.
Melody? Over in the valley?
Yes, sir, that's the one. And a beautiful little
No,
town it is
from the
for
street corner.
tarantulas. But that old jail, let me tell you, is the biggest eyesore in...
Hold it, will you? Now say something sensible or hang up.
But I am. I mean, just because I can't write. Listen, the fire was last night. They moved us out, that's all. Now we're locked up in the sheriff's office. That's how I could get to the phone.
Clear as a bell.
Listen to me. I got out of the fire, understand? Only one of the guys in the big cell, he didn't. He's dead. And if I tell what I know about it, I'll be dead too.
What?
I mean it. It's a rough deal. Get over here, will you? If you don't help me, if they make me tell what I know, they'll burn me.
Nothing's
They
more
make you
dramatic
listen to that
than
pipe
organ.
Jesus. What church did you steal that from?
Right?
I wonder
Gotta
if this
have that
Abner's
dramatic
telling the
organ,
truth.
man.
Could be he's taking George on a wild goose chase.
That can be taken a number of ways.
All I know is my friend here won't lead you astray because what he has to say is straight and to the point.
Oh, Lord, a commercial.
Lead on, Macduff. You made every word live, son. Now let's see if George and Brooksy can do as much.
Oh, they cut out the commercial.
Well,
This
that's
is
them
weird.
pulling up in front of the sheriff's office.
Apparently, they cut out the commercial.
Well, that's the sheriff's office, George.
Yeah.
That was the
Needs to
shortest
call the
ad
train
spot
line.
I've ever seen.
But I guess this is the place that dopey guy on the telephone
That's you, Valentine.
Yeah. Only where in the name?
The alley, George.
Oh.
Here, right here. Hurry up. Don't let anybody see you.
Okay. You're Abner, huh?
But I thought you said you were locked up
Right you
inside.
are, lady. Transferred all of us here when the jail burned down. Only now I'm nuts, see?
Well, how did you get out?
They turned us loose. I just dropped into town for a little game. A slight flutter of the pasteboards, and wham, they picked me up.
What is Abner's last
the
name?
way they treat
Bumblefuck?
you in this town, you'd think
I
you'd
don't
murdered
know.
a whole city block. We got in the way, and they turned us loose.
I don't blame him.
Kicked me out
Get
and
to
told
the
me to
point,
get out of
kid.
town without even giving me a free meal. Can you imagine? There ain't no justice.
Oh, now listen, Buster. I drove 4 hours just so I could try to make sense out of what you said on the phone.
Sure. So let me tell you just what...
Oh, no, you don't. I'll tell you. We stopped at the scene of the fire on our way in. You weren't lying. There was a fire.
Well, that's what
Furthermore, a man, a prisoner who was hauled in last night, another gentleman like yourself, didn't get out. He died in that fire.
It's plain to see you got the facts. But I don't know his name. Nobody knows his name.
Sure. But it was a plain, simple death so far as anybody knows. So, Abner, whatever you know had better be
He
good.
was dead before the fire.
What?
You heard me. In a big jammed-up cell. Conditions are terrible here, I tell you. In that big snoring mass of men, that guy was already dead as a mackerel.
How do you know?
Because when the fire started, I tried to rescue him.
Because
That's
birds
why.
don't die?
Because I put my hands on him and shook him and practically got frozen for my trouble. Body cold as ice, I tell you.
All right, we get the idea.
Well, why didn't you tell the police?
Because they're mixed up in it, that's why. In some way.
Ooh,
I tell
a
you, in this
conspiracy.
town, they got a chief of police.
Oh, now, wait a minute.
His name's McNabb, and he's cruel
A
and crooked
dirty
as a
cop.
cactus.
It's about a
When
dirty
some
cop, I
know
tell you.
He beats me.
So in all these
Calls me into
decades,
his office
nothing's
and beats
changed.
me. You don't believe me? Ask
So he's a
Hank.
cop on the take, I tell
Hank,
you.
come over here.
Hank?
He was there. He knows.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody.
I beg your pardon. Whiskers do not measure a man, nor the patches in his pants. How do you do? Pleasure, young lady. Pleasure.
What?
indeed.
Wait,
Now
what?
listen, Mr. Valentine. Hank,
Stop
here
talking
was
about
his
measuring a man.
humble abode.
Measuring a
Humble
man
abode.
by his
Small
whiskers
place,
and
not too
pants
elegant.
patches?
As for that big guy, the guy who died, we did
Where are these
entertain him.
patches?
Hank and
That's
I
the question.
invited him to share
That
our
would be the
diggings a
question,
couple of days
Don't
ago.
exaggerate, Abner. Your room is a dump. And you didn't even know the guy's name. I remember you said hello, and I said hello, and he says, Fascinating fellow.
He
What do you
says,
know about his death, Hank?
It's just what Abner's told you. I suppose.
Riveting dialogue.
It's no skin off my neck.
Indeed.
I don't like people who won't talk.
The
I
what
don't
in his
Even
pants?
he said 3 words to the cop who threw him in.
Am I right, Green Badger?
Rounded up a whole bunch of us. Guess they do it every Saturday night in this town. That's the cross we have to bear.
Oh.
And I may say a draftier jail cell.
Now
I've
listen,
never...
that guy didn't die of no cold.
He didn't look any too well. I wouldn't be surprised if the fright and the excitement of the fire.
It was a treatment he got, I'm telling you, the rough way that
What
they had...
rough treatment? What kind of stuff are you guys trying
Beat
to
you, that's what they do. Round you up. Say, change your clothes and into the tank you go. No chance to argue or nothing. I tell you that McNabb's a regular Gestapo the way...
Get off the soapbox, Abner. Live and let live. Take it easy. There's no excitement.
Okay, Abner, okay. Where do I find this chief of police?
Oh, no, you don't. I'm not going to come within 5
I
miles of
wouldn't
that...
ask you to. Hey, you, Hank, come on, lead the way.
How did I get dragged into this?
You walked up?
Quit kicking, friend. I could ask the same question myself.
You're a voice actor in a radio studio. What do you think?
You opened your mouth at the right time when you were reading the script. Now you're part of it. Congratulations. You're in the middle of the shit.
So they say he died somehow before the fire, is that right?
Yes, Chief, they said that...
Now, wait just a minute how you use that word they. It's Abner who said.
Oh, get out of here. Go on, beat it.
Look out, Chief. Don't hit me.
What?
What?
What did you say?
Well, I haven't done anything, and when you talk like that, Abner says
Go
you
on,
always...
Hank, go on. We don't need you.
Well, sure, if you say so. I didn't mean any harm. Pleasant morning to you, Chief.
Huh. There's a wreck of a
Who's
man.
that guy? A veteran
Big
of the Civil
words,
War?
Little work. Well, what are you looking at me like that for? I suppose you expect me to hit people, too?
All right, now just take it easy, Chief, will you? I know what kind of a guy Abner is. But I also saw that jail that burned, and it wasn't exactly a model one for as big a town as this.
Sure, my fault.
Of course, if
Blame
it was
it
a
on the
model
chief.
jail, nobody'd
Wouldn't
fit
have
in it.
anything to do with how much money
Yeah.
the town gives me to run this force, would it?
Skip it, will you?
They'd never
There
make it
was
through
no
the
connection
door.
between the fire and that other bum's death.
Uh-huh. Unless somebody set the fire in order to get rid of some evidence, like a blow or a bullet. Just in case that death wasn't natural, I mean.
Oh, but George, that doesn't make any sense. All that trouble just to get rid of some unknown, a man nobody cared about?
Now, look, both of you, I want to... Oh, get out of here, Sergeant.
I thought you ought to see that dead guy's clothes.
What?
Well, here, for the wing of the jail
Traces
that
of
wasn't
semen?
burned, where they changed.
Hey, you mean what he was wearing when he was thrown in? Here, let me see that.
I'll do that, mister. 11 cents change, huh? Big man. Typical vagrant, I tell you. He was just...
Just like the inside of an Oreo.
So many on a Saturday night, we don't really have time to go over them, you know.
Let me see that.
Uh-huh.
Mr. Walter F. Smith.
Who?
Yeah, mystery solved, Chief. That's his name, apparently. Suggest you stick pretty closely to plenty of milk. Leave out too much starch. Be careful.
Don't forget to drink your Ovaltine.
What's that?
What is this, Christmas
Some
story?
doctor's orders. Kansas City. Yeah, a diet list, Chief.
Yeah.
So he was just a nobody, huh?
Oh, no.
Well, what's the matter? I should think that would help.
Chief
get a
just
fight.
realizes he might be in a worse spot than ever, right, McNabb?
Wait, this was a
Very
sitcom?
Smart, Valentine. You catch
The
on
earlier
Negligence,
ones. I guess
Angel.
this is the one
If there's
after they
anything wrong with
decided
this guy, then
to
the
stop
police
the
should have found out
sitcom
about
shit
it.
and do
Maybe
the
he
serious
could
I
help
thought
instead
maybe
of
you
himself.
were
Go on,
starting with
get out of here. I
episode
got
1
work
of
to do.
episode
Wait a
1.
minute, sir. There's something else.
Now, look, Sergeant, you've caused enough trouble yourself for one day.
I'm sorry, Chief, but over at the morgue, there's a woman. She says she's Mrs. Walter F. Smith.
His wife?
Well, I guess.
I would
Or
assume
used to
so.
be. Anyway, she's been looking for him several months. Read about this in
No,
the
it's-
newspaper.
it's
Just
his
flew into town
dentist.
on a hunch to look at the body.
Flew in? The wife of a typical nobody?
I mean, you better see her, Chief. I mean, she wears a mink coat.
He ain't a nobody. If that is wifey, he ain't a nobody. Even mink was offensive back then.
Of course, there's nothing I can tell you. What could I tell you? Don't be ridiculous. I'm going back to my hotel.
Look, I know how you feel, Mrs. Smith.
I
but
don't
if
know
you-
whether he was ill or not. I don't know anything about him lately.
But the chief of police asked us...
I'm sorry. I've been through enough. Seeing Walter there like that.
Mrs. Smith, if
my
you'd only...
taxi's waiting. I'm sorry.
Which hotel?
Let her go. Leave her alone.
Ah.
Sure, wears a mink coat. Wife of a bum.
Well, we asked her to stay until
I
you'd
wanted to see what the teletype check said on his name, that's all.
Well?
Walter F. Smith is wanted by the law.
What?
Embezzlement.
Wow.
This is the law.
All right, what are you so sour about? If his death
You're
was the
wanted by
police's
the
fault
law.
anyway, it's better for you than if he was a respectable citizen.
Hold
calling
still,
the
I'll
law.
give you the facts. Have fun with
You
it.
notice how rich
In
people
addition to
embezzle
Smith,
and
his
poor
loot
people
of
just steal shit?
$200,000 is also wanted.
Okay, I just pointed it out.
Same crime, more syllables because they're rich and they can afford it.
Right.
There you go, having fun already.
Take it easy, Chief. At least you're off the hook.
Like the difference
So now
between
everybody else
eccentric
is up
and
to
crazy.
something, that's all.
Yep.
Yeah, as Abner puts it,
all a
there
question
ain't
of
no
money.
justice.
Yep.
Our boy Valentine sounded a little burned up when he said there ain't no justice.
I don't know that.
And he's
that
right.
organ made me think someone was
There's the
about to
body
get
he
pushed
always
over a
stumbles on
balcony in a
about
romance
now.
novel.
This could ruin his reputation. You know, I'd asked my friend here to drop dead, except I know he has something pretty good to tell you.
Oh, no. And there you go, cutting out the commercial.
What is it, Professor Othello's toilet paper?
Right.
Now with 5% fewer splinters?
Right? Like
now
you would
let's
think
get
they
back
could
and
cut
see if
out that
George's
intro part that led into the commercial.
Not
But
that
no,
I
no,
blame
no.
him.
They set us up for the
Abner would
commercial
make
and just
anybody
no
see
payoff.
red.
Damn it.
If you remember,
Well, they may
Abner's
be-
the old coot that
they may
accused
be
Chief
doing
of
that so
Police
you can
McNabb
insert your
of
own.
barbecuing a fellow prisoner by burning down the
Or so
pokey.
somebody can.
As an
Yeah.
added touch, Abner swears the victim was dead before he got the hot foot. Then, to make matters more complicated, the chief discovers the body belonged to a Walter Smith, who was wanted for taking $200,000 that didn't belong to him. Complicated?
What do you know?
You bet. But George has it figured. He says it's murder. Even so, I think I better lend our boy a hand as he starts asking
You never would have
questions around
considered
town.
murder.
I have a landlady, George.
Walter Smith came to town a couple of days ago. You must have noticed something about him, or he must have had some baggage that you...
I'm a working woman, Mac. I don't have time to sit around and gab with the guests. I just thought
she's
he
a
was
whore.
a drifter like the rest of them, that's all.
Kind of like the difference between assassination and
I can
murder.
tell you
Yeah.
that in one word. No baggage.
It's funny how that works. Yeah.
But you notice baggage, huh? Keep your eye out for that sort of thing?
I gotta protect it, you know. Don't want nothing stolen from the guests.
Uh-huh. Nothing in his bureau?
Oh, spare shirt, maybe. How should I know? I'm telling you like I told McNabb. Smith was here, but I didn't notice him until he wasn't.
No, when it's a rich person, it's not a murder.
Somebody
It's
said
a...
he was in jail.
It's a termination of
Named
essential
Abner seemed all upset.
biological
Rounding
functions.
up Abner again.
Ain't that interesting? Look, if you're through
Here's
nosing
your
around...
newspaper.
Huh?
Yeah, it's today's newspaper. Room hasn't been occupied since yesterday. And I don't know who else would read the fashion page around here.
Thanks.
Now, you've been going
Johnny
through this
Dollar.
room. What did you find?
Nothing. Gee, $200,000 they say he's got someplace. But I'm telling you, not a thing, not any baggage, not nothing.
You expect me to believe that?
George.
Yeah, in here, Brooksy.
George, I can't find him.
Oh, if you're looking for me, dearie,
Mrs. Smith, his wife. I tried every hotel in town.
That taxi driver who drove her away from the morgue?
No, the police had already located the driver. He says he dropped her off downtown here in the business section.
What are you two talking about? You know something I don't?
I doubt it. Come on, Angel. I've learned all I need to.
So it wasn't the fault of the big, bad police, Valentine. I just talked long distance to that doctor in Kansas City, the one whose name was on the diet chart.
What'd you find out, Chief?
There was nothing really wrong with Smith's health. He was one of them hypochondriacs, warriors, pill takers. Doc finally booted him out.
All right. So the police are pure.
Pill popper.
Did you locate that Abner for me?
I haven't done anything for you, but I'll take you down to a
Somebody
garage
that
if you want.
nowadays doesn't even get anywhere
Smith's
near
wife.
WebMD.
She went down to this garage and rented a car. Only now the car's back and she's disappeared.
Dun, 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 dun.
I don't know where
All
she
right,
went when she
organist,
took the
we
car.
want the
Didn't you see Mrs.
scale to
Smith when she
escalate
came back
quickly
to
and
your
then
garage?
de-escalate slowly.
She was gone about an hour, I guess. Anyways, I didn't notice the car till just a few minutes ago, parked here in the alley.
Yeah, it's been someplace with a lot of dust.
I got the sergeant around combing
It
the town
smells
for
like
her.
used sex,
She's
man.
back. She's got to be around someplace.
You sure about that?
I
Why
call
not?
pill
Well, I
poppers
didn't have
farmers.
much luck. And I must have been looking after she came back.
22 miles.
What?
Well, you set the speedometer back to 0 when you hire a car out, don't you?
Well, that's right.
So wherever she went, it was 11 miles out and 11 miles back.
With all that dust, too. Now, look, a piece of sagebrush.
What's ticking in your head?
Most of the roads around here are paved. There's only a couple
This
of...
is grape country, irrigated most of it, so how did that sagebrush get there?
Come on, hop in my car.
Why
I'll show
is
you.
the underwear covered in moose prints and chocolate sprinkles?
This is the third and last road.
10.5 miles.
Yeah, plenty of sagebrush on this one.
Yeah, old AA place. Sold out and cut the water off. Hey, wait a minute.
What's that building over there?
Abandoned winery. Only the mileage...
Wait a minute, hold it. Stop. Tracks. Right there. See him turning off?
Yeah, only there's 2 cars.
Yeah, there's one right there.
What?
An old pickup truck, see? Beyond the building.
Hey, you!
It's Abner and Hank, George.
Look out, speed limit!
Abner!
Wait for me, Abner. I didn't do anything.
Stop, both of you!
Get away from that truck!
Wait, Abner. We haven't done anything, my boy.
Stop or I'll shoot!
Hey, slow down, Hank.
I'm
Up
not
there,
doing
Batman.
anything.
Okay, Hank, your friend left you, that's all. Oh, cut it out, McNabb. He got
Gotta
away. Let him
save
go.
Baba.
But if I don't get after him right now...
Abner was just looking for you, Mr. Valentine. We just got here. A garage man told him you were out trying some roads or something, so he borrowed the truck and grabbed me along.
Skip it. Radio the
Borrowed or
highway patrol,
stole?
McNabb. They'll get him. And take Miss Brooks into town for me.
What? Who do you think is chief of police in this town?
I've told her what I want.
Help me. I hurt my foot a little.
Okay. I'll take care of Hank here. Only get your car away from here, McNabb, quick.
Okay.
I was running at full speed with
All
an
right,
erection
cool
and
off,
twisted
Hank.
my dick.
We'll just wait. In the shade. If we can find any.
There are buildings that... If you know it's a winery, there's a building. You have shade. Some detective.
How long are we
No
going
wonder
to
he
wait,
needs
Mr.
organ music to
Valentine?
point him in the right
Oh,
direction.
relax, Hank. Sun will set in a couple of hours.
Couple of hours. Then it'll be just as bad. Gets real cold out here in the evening. Goes through your bones. I don't know how I got into this crazy...
Yeah, sure I know.
The script.
Abner brought you out here with him, huh? Abner got me into this because he already had a little idea who Smith really was. Does that check?
I guess so, Mr. Valentine. I don't know.
Sure. You were all in jail together. Abner thought maybe I could help point him toward the money. Is that right?
I guess he thought that because Mrs. Smith came out here, well, then the money was out here, too.
Yeah. It might be.
You really think so? Well, in that case, while everybody's gone, maybe you and I...
No. It's too hot. No, we'd never find it, Hank. Let the police worry.
Abner doesn't trust McNabb. That's why he took off.
I know it. But he'll be back, looking for the money.
Look, Mr. Valentine, was this guy Smith murdered?
I don't know.
Holy smoke. Maybe he killed himself.
Well, it could have happened. Only it doesn't tie with anything very well.
Come on, we're losing our shade. Let's move.
Apparently, hypochondriac
Maybe
doesn't want to be
Smith
sick.
was
That's why they
just
sit
not
sick
in
all the
too
time.
good health
Not that
and
that makes
kicked
sense,
off.
but-
A man has to take care of himself.
It's a mad cry for attention, I tell you.
Here's a good place.
The winery?
Yeah. Ought to be cool inside here, don't you think?
Okay.
Boy, it's dark. What's in the name of...
Hey, what happened? Did you fall?
I'm all right.
Tripped over a dead hooker.
Damn hook.
I
Dead hookers, you find those bodies in the damnedest places.
Yep.
Mrs. Smith.
Uh-oh.
The body of Mrs. Smith.
How close was I?
It was the body of Mrs. Smith. Well, that depends.
I was so close they brought out the piano.
You got a piano rating, dude. You're good.
Yeah.
Oh, thank goodness. At last a body. Too bad it had to be Mrs. Smith.
At last
You know
a
the old
body?
saying,
Holy shit.
Here today and Gould tomorrow. Anyway, while George is getting to the bottom of this, I want my friend here to dish a little off the top.
That sounds wrong.
www.houseofgeek.net. Couldn't resist.
You know, there's an ironic twist to this story.
Really?
It all takes place in a town called Melody. As far as I can see, it's
Well, I
been one
mean, you know,
discord after another.
Jaws
and this
took
fella
place
Hank
in
isn't
Amity.
helping matters with his odd-key baritone.
Look, I don't like it around here, and it's cold even in here. I told you it'd be cold tonight.
Quiet, will you? Don't make so much noise.
But she's been dead a long time. She's
Hit
been...
over the head. Yeah, I can see for myself. So somebody else drove the car back. She drove out and somebody else drove it back. That's more like it.
I'm getting nervous. Somebody will be back.
Yeah, you're right.
You're a cop. Why are
All
you
we know
getting...
about
Oh, no,
her
that's
is
the
that her
other
husband
car.
left her.
Damn it.
He was hiding out, posing as a bum. So she came after him to get the money.
No one knows who's what.
The money was here.
I mean, I've caught on to this case, that's all.
He
Mrs.
finally
Smith
caught
didn't
on
know
in
where
his
her
case.
husband was. How could she know where the money was if he was dead before she got to town?
Oh, for the love of...
Okay, I'll stop talking, Riddles.
You hear that?
Yeah, we got company.
Get back in here. He can't see
Wait a
us.
minute, hold it.
McNabb.
Valentine?
Oh, yeah, right here, Chief.
Oh, holy smoke, Chief. We thought you might be somebody else.
Where's Miss Brooks?
Out in the car. We haven't located Abner yet.
Did you two find what I told Brooksy about?
Yeah. Pills, medicines, a small drugstore.
Okay, where was it?
First place you suggested. But I doubt if it'll do much good as evidence.
I know it, but I got a better idea. Go on back to the car.
Okay, sure.
Say, what's the idea? What's so funny?
Well, you might not see the joke, Hank. Sit down. We're going to wait some more. For days if we have to.
Wait.
What
for?
A confession.
What?
Yeah, a man named Smith was a fugitive from the law, and from his wife, too. Had money and plenty of trouble, and worst of all, he was sure he was sick. So the money couldn't give him much fun, could it? End result? He was hiding on Skid Row when he got an idea. Why not die?
Found
Look,
a bum and burned it.
I'm cold, and I'm dying of rigor.
He did. He did just that. He died of murder. And afterwards set fire to the jail he was in, so his body couldn't be examined too closely.
He what?
And it all worked beautifully until his wife showed up. She kept her mouth shut when she saw the body, but afterwards must have spotted Smith herself, and so he brought her out here and he killed her. Probably told her the money was here, when really
Yeah,
I suppose
he
it's
saved- he
stashed away
faked
in
his own
Kansas
death.
City or anyplace else.
I'll say you don't know anything. You're
I
so
should
mixed
have caught
up.
on when I found Smith's room had no baggage. That's where the pill taker's private drugstore should have been. But of course it wasn't. They were with your stuff, Walter F. Smith. That's where McNabb found it.
Oh, is that so?
Yeah, the man you killed was just a poor penny ante gambler. A man you knew hardly ever opened his mouth. No one knew anything about him. He'd never be missed. So you knocked him over the head, I suppose, when all the rest of the men were asleep.
I don't know what you're talking about, Mr. Valentine.
And then you put that diet chart in his clothes. Oh, not a bad stunt. Make the police think they might have done a pretty terrible thing. Make them want to cover it up and keep it quiet.
I won't admit any of it. There's nothing you can do to
Oh,
me.
Buster, what an ironic spot you sit on. Oh, you cold? Oh, well, come on, let's have a brandy. You know, I remember the items on that diet list. Milk, no pepper, just bland stuff. So the guy it was written for must have been worried about his stomach. Come on, Hank, have a brandy. Little sharp, maybe, kind of strong for some stomachs, maybe, but for you it'll...
I don't want it.
Too bad you didn't have the sense to stay away from here. Just curious, I guess,
Shut
huh?
up, shut up.
Look, Mr. Smith, if all I've said isn't true, well, go ahead, have a drink. There's nothing wrong with you. The diet chart wasn't yours.
Shut up.
And after you're really
Yeah,
hungry,
drink
we'll
some
go
of that
for a
water
nice,
from
spicy
Ohio.
Mexican
Right.
dinner, maybe. There'll be no excuse for you not to eat it, will there be?
Cut this out!
After all, you're okay. You can eat anything. Go on, have a drink. All right, come on, Mr. Smith. Miss Brooks will take it down in shorthand. And then we're going back to town and find Abner. And see how he can take some gentle persuasion.
Faked his own death.
Abner, I want you to get out of Melody and keep going.
And right now.
Look out.
Yeah,
Don't you
get
hit
out
me
of
again,
Melody.
Chief.
She don't want to have
I've
any more
never
sex.
hit you. Nobody on my force has
Abner,
ever...
listen, will you? The chief here is all right. With a little publicity on this case, maybe the town will wake up and give him the money his department needs. But, Abner, I am not a cop. I'd be glad to hit you.
No, you wouldn't.
That's what you think. I don't like being played for a sucker, so start moving.
No, look, I mean, I know I did a lot of lying to get you into the case. I figured we could make some dough together. I mean,
Here goes.
No.
Thanks, friend, thanks. That guy sure was a headache.
Oh, don't mention it. Okay, Brooksy, let's go.
I'm happy to snap a little
So long,
passing
McNabb.
around.
Right?
Well, where you been, Angel? Seems to me you kind of dropped out of things.
Miss me?
Oh, well, I was busy with the case.
Never mind. As Abner used to say, there ain't no justice.
Now we're at a baseball game? Jesus, music, what's wrong with you?
Say, did you ever see a dream walking? Maybe not, but you just saw a bell burning. Brooksy. And if she'll be good enough to hold that torch she's carrying a little closer, I'll be able to read that Robert Bailey plays George Valentine with Virginia Gregg as Brooksy. Don Clark directed the script by David Victor and Jackson Gillis, and Eddie Dunstedter's music kept things blazing.
Okay.
I'd like you to make a mental note right
Blazing's
now.
not
to
the
save
word
a
I'd
half hour
use.
for us next time when you will hear what happens.
Green Badger,
when you
get
let
out of
George
Melody.
do it.
She's sore and tired.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, I'm going to clip that short because we have come to our signature show. What is the signature show in old time media? It is the one show that is a staple until we air the last episode of the show. This was a request from a long-standing supporter of mine, GhostDog999 on Twitter, and it is The Shadow.
Yonder shadow.
Who knows what evil lurks in the hearts of men?
George Takei.
The shadow knows.
The Shadow knows.
Insert Jim Carrey laugh
Yep.
here.
The Shadow, Murder by the Dead. Sounds a little impossible, but...
No, worked for George Romero.
Okay, if the audio sounds a little weird, that's not me. That's how they recorded this episode.
Sons of bitches.
Mm-hmm. I am not responsible for how this sounds. Not today.
By all means, order your first ton tomorrow.
you'll like this excellent Pennsylvania hard coal. It's America's finest anthracite.
Green Badger, who knows what evil lurks in the minds of ducks?
And healthfully warm all winter long. But be sure you get...
Tell you what, man, ducks' motives are unclear.
Ask for it by name.
I find it difficult to trust the duck.
The coal that is colored a harmless blue.
You know, the more serious the situation is, the less less likely I have to trust the duck.
Right.
Is in reality Lamont Cranston, wealthy young man about town.
Remember,
wait a minute, they're adjusting
Years
the audio.
ago, in the Orient,
Wait.
Cranston learned a strange and mysterious secret.
If the duck
The
had
hypnotic
3
power
wings, it would be cousin to
cloud
the
men's
turkey.
minds so they cannot see him. Cranston's friend and companion, the lovely Margot Lane,
I am the shadow.
is the
You
only
can't see
person
me.
who
Flip.
knows to
Oh,
whom
God
the
damn it.
voice
Who
of
turned the light
invisible
on?
shadow belongs. Tonight's
Damn it,
episode,
Lamont.
Murder
What the fuck is
by
wrong
the
with you?
Dead.
Murder by the Dead. This is an interestingly improbable title, but...
The court will come to order. The court will come to order.
Who moidalized the guy?
The
The dead guy
prisoner
over there.
stands.
The dead guy kill a dead guy. I don't know. Pay attention.
Peter Swift, you've been found guilty of willful and deliberate murder after a fair and impartial trial.
Willful
Have you anything
and
to say before
deliberate
sentence
murder.
is pronounced upon you?
Same thing as premeditated?
I got something to say.
Very well, be brief.
Oh, I'll be brief, all right. You think you're gonna kill me, but you ain't. I'll get you. Yes, you up on the bench there, and I'll get that
You
district
and your
attorney
little
too.
dog,
And just
too.
for good luck, I'll get the foreman of that crooked jury that railroaded me. Do you understand?
Perfectly.
Now, calm down, good fella.
Threats against the
If you keep
district
this up, they're going to
attorney
see what
and the
happens to
jury
people
will,
who break.
I am sure, go as
The law.
unnoticed as your threat against myself. Peter Swift, I hereby sentence you to be taken from here to the place from whence you came, and that there you be executed in the manner provided by the law.
Because, you know, any other way of executing me would be legal.
You will hang me, will you, you old fool? I'll get you.
And your
all
little
three.
dog,
Your
too.
little dog.
Oh,
And if I can't get you living,
great minds
I'll
think
get you
alike.
dead.
Take him away.
It's just about as bad as the Southerner going, I'm going to kill you dead.
Defective minds think alike, I'd say.
Yeah. We'll get you and your little dog, too. He's got to wait for a tornado.
Good to have you back in America again.
Margot,
I'll get you, my pretty, and your little jury, too.
As soon as I got that frantic message from you. What's it all about?
Lamont, the district attorney's store was murdered last week.
Yes, I know. I saw it in the papers.
I cabled you because I was afraid.
Afraid? You? What's the matter? Spooks?
Well, I'm trying to believe it isn't.
Oh, darling, you're talking nonsense.
I only hope I am. Lamont,
Well, it's Margot.
it was district attorney
If
Stowe
you talk
who prosecuted
sense, that would be a
murder of
thing.
Peter Swift 6 months ago.
Yes, I remember. The chap who threatened to come back and get Stowe and Judge Clive and the foreman of the jury.
Yes,
Haven't
let's
forgotten who
name
the foreman of the
everybody
jury
that's,
was, have
you know,
you?
Dorothy
Oh,
and her little dog.
It was your father, wasn't it, Margot? Your father
And you were
is
there,
the
and
third
you
on
were
the
there.
list to die.
Yes, now do you
Oh,
understand?
but my dearest girl, you surely
Oh,
don't
her
intend
father
to
was in the
suggest
jury.
that-
That's why she's a little
I
flustered
mean,
in this
Peter
particular
Swift
instance.
was hanged.
All I know is that 3 men were threatened, and one of them is dead.
A coincidence, of course.
Well, perhaps. But I know you'll think I'm a fool.
One is an
Lamont,
incident,
but-
2 is a
and I
coincidence,
don't
3
know
is a
how,
pattern.
but perhaps Peter Swift has
Well,
come back.
it seems that
Swift was executed.
the gold and frankincense guys are okay, but the myrrh guy, fuck
But
him.
there is something in what you say. I wonder now. So we're asked to believe that Peter Swift has come back from the land of shades to kill 3 men.
3 were
Honor
threatened.
and Blitzen.
One is dead, murdered.
The killer must
Moidalized
be
even.
then a ghost, a shade. Well, my dear, I suppose there's only one thing that can be opposed to a shade.
And that is?
A shadow. My dear Margot.
Oh, good grief.
A shadow.
My dear Margot, a shadow. Because I like talking about my alter ego in the 3rd sentence.
No, that's all, Taylor. You might as well go to bed. I've got some work to do here in the library. May keep me up for quite a while.
Yes, sir.
Good night, sir.
Poor Stowe. I wish with you. You!
Oh, yes. You see me, Judge?
Peter Swift? But this is impossible.
Oh, the dead has come back to keep my promise.
You're mad. Or I am.
Ghosts ain't never mad, Your Honor.
Ghosts?
Yes, they are. Have you seen poltergeists? They're not exactly nice.
Would you?
Yeah, they weren't exactly throwing a tea party, were they?
No.
Two of them. One more to go.
They imported the organ player from Discount Johnny Dollar.
Wait, Lamont, are you the shadow? I only asked because of the way you laugh when you say the shadow.
Yeah.
Come in, Taylor. Commissioner Wilson.
That don't give it away at all.
Yeah.
This is Taylor. I want to check your story.
I want to check your
You told
story.
Sergeant Riley you left Judge Clive in his library about 11 o'clock?
Yes, that's right, sir.
Then what did you do?
I locked the front door, and then I started to go up to bed.
Go on.
As I was passing the library door, I heard voices inside. So I listened. You see,
She
I
said
don't know what
inside.
it is.
She heard voices. That's a totally different matter.
Don't apologize. What did you hear?
I heard a hushed voice. And then there were two shots, and the bell jangled.
Now, you tried the door. It was locked. So you ran around outside the house to the window, which you found open, right?
That's right, sir.
That's right.
What kind of a voice was it you heard?
Well, it was a kind of a hoarse.
It sounded like Popeye the Sailor.
I couldn't make out what it said.
I see.
So a talking
All right,
horse.
Mrs. Taylor, that'll be all of the press.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Ed, have you been committing murder?
Commissioner Weston.
Every time.
The shadow murdered.
Every time before. Hello, I'm Mr. Ed.
I don't know. Commissioner Weston speaking.
Hee 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 ha ha ho ho.
I'm flattered. I wish I could get my hands on you.
Turn on the light.
Come, Commissioner. What do you want?
Mr. Ed is our primary suspect.
I can do what I can. I wonder. However, I've got a little...
Wilbur, I did it again.
Have you ever thought of exhuming the body of Peter Swift?
The sad part is when you realize that Mr. Ed and Wilbur were into pegging.
Get you a lock of his hair. Trace this conker. No bother. I'm talking from a booth.
Explains why Wilbur could never keep a woman. Francis the Talking Mule.
Even if I did, I suspect you couldn't get it for me.
Well, we all know it can't be
Off the
Lassie
horse.
because, you know, that bitch barked.
I wonder. District Attorney Stowe and Judge Clive have been murdered. There's only Mr. Lane left. I don't believe in ghosts. No. But you believe in shadow.
Do you believe in magic?
I believe I can fly.
What was that all about?
Cardona, get an order for the exhumation of Peter Swift's body.
What?
Orders. The police are on the right track, but they may be too late. Go to the Warden of State Prison. Pose as a newspaper reporter. Find out what disposition was made of Peter Swift's body following his execution. Hurry. Every second counts.
Every second. We gotta beat the people to the body. That way we have a lot more shit to explain at the end of the episode.
Sure planted him deep, didn't they, Commissioner?
I don't want any cracks on it, Cardinal. Haven't they gotten down to that coffin yet?
How you coming, boys? Just hit the coffin,
With our girlfriend.
Well, snap into it and get the ropes on. I don't care.
Do you think this really an appropriate question to ask right now, dude? Do you give a body?
Tonight isn't my style.
Never.
I'll take charge, sir.
I know why. But this is more or less of a personal matter between myself and that
And I.
who calls himself the Shadow. Get on those ropes.
All right,
boys. Pull those ropes.
All right, hold that rope short. We don't want it slipping back on us. Now pull.
Oh, there's our Irish dude.
Yep, there he is.
Something, dude.
Sire.
Keep on pulling the rope or there's going to be
All right.
trouble.
See with those screwdrivers and get the lid off.
It's just nailed on, Commissioner.
Then pry it off.
It's just nailed on. Someone should edit the completely inappropriate or
He's over, Commissioner. Well, let me look.
I agree.
Now we'll know. What's this?
Looks to me like bricks. The coffin's filled with bricks.
But where's the body? Where's Peter Swift?
Well, obviously not in the coffin.
Indeed.
There he goes again with a malevolent laugh.
They should also edit in a different laugh for the shadow.
While we're waiting for the shadow,
So it's a
I want to pass on this advice in particular interest to all homeowners. If you're anxious to
Or
cut
just
down
swap
your
out Jimmy Carr's
water, to keep your family free from a lot of sniffles and colds, then by all means
Try
burn
Professor Othello's
anthracite
duct tape.
or hard coal.
No,
Because
better yet, try
anthracite is the
Professor
helpful
Othello's
fuel.
hot
It gives
sauce.
steady, even, helpful heat.
It's great for
In contrast to
foreplay
the
and may
flashy
result
kind
in a
you
medical
get from
emergency.
the on and off types of quick-burning fuels. And friend,
Professor
don't
Othello's
forget
hot
this
sauce.
point. Furnaces, cook stoves,
My
and
God,
space heaters in
Roxanne,
this
what's
section
that
of the
smell?
country were especially designed to burn anthracite. And to get America's finest anthracite, ask for blue coal. Blue coal burns long and evenly, with the
Yeah,
furnace
shove it up
gases
your blue
practically
coal.
As
closed.
opposed to short
There's no
and chop.
waste up the chimney. It gives
There's no
economical as
waste
well
up
as
the
healthful
chimney.
heat.
No, because people
The
usually
shadow.
shit the toilet.
By the Glenalden Coal Company.
The shadow
the world's
knows.
largest producer of Pennsylvania
Charge.
anthracite. Laboratory tested at the mines for purity and for uniformity of size. If you have never
Now,
tried
I know
blue
on the
coal,
replay.
place a
Yeah.
trial order tomorrow.
Okay.
You'll find the name of your nearest blue coal
On the
dealer
replay, someone's going to
listed
read
in
that
the where to
before
buy
I
section
read it
on
out
your
loud.
classified telephone
They're going to go,
directory
what means
under the
da da
name
da 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 charge?
Blue coal.
Right. This is going to be the only stream that I have the chat actually on the screen.
Come in, Markham.
Say shit.
I was right about Peter Swift. I was right.
Yes, I know you were. I found out from another source. My darling, you're trembling. What's the matter?
Oh, I'm all right. I've just come from the prison now. I guess all that talk about bodies and executions has unnerved me a little.
Oh, I'm
Really?
terribly sorry I had to ask you to do it, but
That's probably
time
turned
is
around.
so short, and I had to be somewhere else.
Oh, I understand.
He had to be the shadow.
Calm down and tell me
He can't ever
just
be when
what
people
happened
expect
from
him
the
to be.
beginning.
Well, I went to see the warden, said I was a newspaper reporter, as you told me to, and asked him what happened to the bodies of executed men.
Yes?
Well, he told me if the relatives don't claim the body, it's turned over to the state medical college. So I asked him about Peter Swift.
Go on.
The warden said that according to the
Who's
record,
Peter did what?
Swift's family called for his remains. However, he said as long as I was interested, he'd send for the guard at the south gate. He'd know all about it. Pretty soon, the guard came up from the warden's office.
Oh,
Come in.
now we're flashbacking.
You want to see me, Warden?
Come in, Sloan. This is
See,
Miss
you
Lane.
gotta warn
She's
people
a
when you
newspaper
flashback.
reporter.
Some people don't pay attention to what's
She
going on.
wants to ask you about the removal
Right.
of bodies.
Oh, I can tell you about every stick that's left here in the past 15 years.
Well, you see, I just wanted to...
The first one
You
I
don't care
ever
about
saw was
sticks? Oh, you mean
Grimes.
stiffs.
He was
Sorry.
strung up for murdering his mother with an axe. Well, ma'am, when they come for him, they...
Just a minute.
His mother with an axe.
There's one in particular Miss Lane is interested in. Swift.
Oh, Peter Swift.
The mother he murdered. Was
Remember
this
him?
a horse that could run in mud?
His family was
Or was
supposed
this a
to
mother?
cover him, but
Is
they
pronouncing it
didn't
incorrect.
come after all.
No?
Nah, a croaker named Craig came for the body in an old truck.
A croaker?
He means a doctor, Miss Lane.
Oh.
That's the rather unflattering prison term for a medico.
Oh.
Yeah. I reckon this croaker Craig had bought the body. Anyways, he took it away quick. He was in a
Back
big
then,
hurry,
they
too.
called a
The
coroner
stick
a
wasn't even
croaker?
cold yet.
That's
Do
interesting.
you know where this Dr. Cragg came from?
Sure, from the city. I got his address on the register down at the gate. You want it?
Oh, yes, please. Thank you very much, Sloan.
A doctor named Craig, eh, Margot? Do you have his address?
Yes, here it is.
Oh, thank you. Now, listen, Margot, I've got to go out now.
Mrs. Lamont, I'm going with you.
Margot, I gotta go out cavorting as a shadow. You can't come with me. You gotta stay here.
Doesn't leave the house until this thing is
Yeah,
cleared
go
up.
take care of your dad.
I don't
This
think
is
it'll
what
be
you're
for
supposed to
long,
be
but
doing
I
this
don't
whole
wanna
damn
take
episode,
chances
but you
on
keep
his
doing
safety.
everything but what you're told.
Going.
Shadow
Surprising?
is going to pay a visit to a certain Dr.
Again, at a baseball game?
Right?
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, the build up.
Who was
What?
The build up.
Mort, is that you?
Right?
You lie. I'm the only person in the room.
No, you're here with a shadow.
Where are you? Where's that voice coming from? I can swear there's no one else here. I'm sane. Sane.
You're seeing shit because I'm telling you you're seeing shit.
What do you want? Just a favor.
It's your voice in an echo box, Shadow.
Right?
How much? $20,000. Yes, a good price. Well,
I've got a friend booked to hang on the 23rd of this month.
what's that got to do with me?
Here, my dad. 20 grand.
Who's your friend?
Who's your daddy? Also.
Three-fingered
Louis. Well, what am I supposed to do?
Three-fingered
about it?
Louis. What happened to the other two fingers? Or do we really want to really answer the question?
So, why?
Who are and father?
Drop that gun, Doctor. I've got you covered.
You dirty! Shadow.
You know, calling a big guy tiny was only imaginative until people caught on to the con.
Shadow just wants a little information.
You won't get it.
Little information as to how you resuscitated Peter Swift. Brought him back from the dead, if you prefer the term.
I won't tell you.
And restored his broken neck.
I did it! I did it! I've proved I can do it! But it's my secret. I don't care if you are a shadow or the shadow.
Three-Finger
You
Louis,
can't have my
a.k.a. the
secret.
shocker.
No one can have it.
Yeah.
It's mine.
You're gonna have to trade your secret for mine. My secret of blinding eyes to the obvious. I can teach it to you in a few minutes. The shadow secret of invisibility.
Well, I'm not interested in your secret, some psychological touch. What's the power of making oneself invisible compared to the secret of making the dead live?
Perhaps you're right.
Look.
Right? I was almost expecting tackle.
Tibet or in the African jungle.
I won't tell you. I won't tell you. It's mine.
You can't make me. It's my
As
secret.
long as I want it to be. Forever and for all eternity.
I'm not going to tell you that I took a drug to make it look like I was dead when I wasn't dead. Somebody revived me and blah, 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 on and on, so on and so forth.
They threatened to put me in an institution.
Or they did the time warp.
I am a genius.
You benefited by an exceedingly rare
You ain't a
coincidence.
No.
Coincidence might happen one time in a billion, one time in a
It
trillion.
was no coincidence, I tell you. It was my genius. And I shall hold my secret. I shall continue to make the dead live.
You're making Peter Swift live has caused two other men to die. To die at the hands of Peter Swift.
And what interest is that to me? I am not interested in that.
Not interested in the fact that the third man may die tonight. A man named Ross Lane.
What do I care about Ross Lane alive or dead? It is nothing to me.
Will you bring Ross Lane back to life?
Oh,
Oh my God, Shadow, get to the point.
I can bring anyone back from the dead. I tell you, I
You got about
have
10
found
more
the secret
minutes.
of life over
Maybe
again.
8.
I can prove it. Prove
Well,
it
no,
again
it's not
and
that, I
again.
just-
I can prove
I know.
it on myself.
It's like-
I can die and bring
You
myself
don't need to know what the guy had for
back to
supper
life.
last night, Shadow.
Oh, am I? Am I mad? Yeah, I'm only putting my gun on the table.
Very well, then.
I'm not afraid of you, even though I can't see you. You see?
Yes, Frank.
And I will prove to you what I just said. I am not mad. I am a genius. I have found the secret.
What was that?
Of life itself.
Right.
Oh, so that's it. Potassium cyanide in that can, huh? And you think you'll bring yourself back to life, huh? Oh, Craig, you were a fool. You were a madman. So now, it's the shadow against the ghost. Ghost
basically talked the dude into killing himself. You malevolent bastard.
Yeah.
What an anti-hero thing to do.
Oh no, it's Scary Scaryman.
Is that you, Jenkins? Good.
I bet you can't kill yourself and bring yourself back to life. Oh, yeah, here, let me prove it to you. Thud.
Not to go out of the house. Oh, she did. Well, when she comes back, you tell her I went out. I'm not going to be ordered around by my own daughter as if I were a child of 3. Ridiculous. I can take care of myself. Well, open the car, Jenkins. But Mr. Lane, the danger
If you can take care of yourself, open your own car.
My own club. It's my own car with my own chauffeur.
Right. And if you can take care of your own self, you can open your own car to your own door and give your chauffeur a break. So there. Me.
Jenkins, be careful. You turned that corner on 2 wheels. Remember, I have a weak heart. Drive carefully.
Drive faster, Jenkins.
Did you hear me?
They're opening the bridge. Jump it.
With you? Stop the car this instant. Jenkins.
It ain't Jenkins. It's the dead guy.
You're not Jenkins. Why, you're Peter Swift.
And where was Margot? She's supposed to be looking after her dad. Where the fuck is Margot? Margot, you suck as a daughter, goddammit.
If my parents named me Peter Swift, I'd be really upset.
Right.
That's like condemning my sex life without evidence.
Right? Margot, you suck as a daughter, man. You're fired.
That's your parents saying he ain't ever gonna get none.
Right?
And if he does, he ain't gonna be any good at it.
Where are you? Don't tell me you didn't know you had a shadow as a passenger too, Peter.
The shadow can be anywhere, Peter.
What are you gonna do? I think you'd better stop the car, Peter, and then I'll see that the proper authorities get you again. And this time there will be no Dr. Crab.
I swear I thought he said there will be no thundercrack.
Shadow or no shadow, I'm driving this car, and you don't dare touch me if you do. And when they get you, Peter, they'll take you up on that little platform and blindfold you. And then they'll put the noose around your neck.
What happened?
It puts the noose around its neck.
Driving is positively
You minimized again.
Oh, sorry. The calamities, sorry.
Is that supposed to be the screeching of tires?
I guess.
Did you see that crash?
No, I guess it was good.
That car's a total wreck. We got 3 head-ons.
Did you see that crash? I'm sure everybody within earshot of the squealing tires turned to see where the noise was. So yes, I think they saw the crash.
Shot from and the other?
Oh.
Broken neck. No. This is funny. What's that, Doc? The chauffeur has a metal brace on his neck now. He must have broken it once before. Well, there he is. Peter Swift. The only guy that ever died twice.
Yeah, we're giving him a swell.
The only guy that ever booked his secretary and his wife in the same minute.
Yeah.
Natural. Waste of natural. And cast your lamps on the reed. Yeah.
This guy's killed me at funerals. Oh, he looks so lifelike. Bitch, he's dead.
Who sent this little bunch of funny...
So he's one person that looks in an open casket and goes, he looks so lifelike.
No, what kills me is how he looks good. No, he doesn't.
He's dead.
He looks dead.
Look here. What does it say?
He's passed on. He is no more. He has ceased to be. They didn't make him look good. They made him look porcelain.
Right?
What happened?
And that was it. That's the end of the episode. That is the end of our 4th and final episode for this old time media, episode number 2. Next week, we're going to have a couple of different ones starting out the show, and we're also going to have a premiere of Fibber, McGee, and Molly. And whoever named that character Fibber, I'm sure they never lived it down.
Certainly the character didn't.
Right?
Or won't.
Hey, Mitch, do you have anything planned this week?
Just more of my regular stuff on my Rumble channel, which I should be more prepared to put in the chat. Oh, now see, now I'm just clicking all the wrong things everywhere. Sweet dancing Jehoshaphat. I don't know what a Jehoshaphat is. It sounds like some sort of a pastry from the biblical ages.
Thank you, Green Badger. This is, as I said earlier in the show, like in the middle of it, at 11:30 Central Standard Time, 12:30 Eastern, and 6:30 over in the UK. Every Sunday we will be doing this. Like I said, all requests are welcome. DM through Twitter, Discord, or even I think there's a email on my website that you can actually email requests into. And I will be more than happy to put them on the show. Until next time, my lovable misfits, try and behave, but if you can't behave, make sure there's no cameras and be good at it.
And while we're stuck under this crazy clown world thing, keep on in the clock world. See you later.